So, have we or have we not entered the age of Aquarius? Namaste, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from In5D. And tonight we're going to be talking about the age of Aquarius. It's a really fascinating topic. So sit back, grab some water or some juice, and we'll jump right into it. Just want to make a little comment about my fruitarianism diet. Kind of went off the wagon a little. I left the land of fruit for pizza land. And it happens. I was doing so well on the fruitarianism diet, but I ended up having some pizza and it was yummy and I don't regret it. But you know what? It happens. And I went back on the fruitarianism diet and I've been doing well on it. Today I actually went out shopping and bought some more fruit. So looking forward to that yumminess of that. Now, a lot of you guys saw and if you haven't, I recommend watching it. The interviews, I've had 2 with Andy yesterday on Monday and a week from Monday beforehand. And I've always thought that I had brown eyes, and what you're looking at kind of looks like brown hazel eyes. My eyes were dark brown when I was younger, and then they started lightening up as I got older. And I took a picture. This was this morning with the flash on. So Andy said, your eyes are actually blue. And he pointed out this one spot, this one area in my eyes that you can see underneath the hazelness, there is blue there. So you might want to do that if you have brown eyes or hazel eyes. Try to get a picture. I wish I could I'm still trying to figure out how to get that really clear picture of my eyes. And, I've tried with my cell phone. I've tried with this camera, which is a Sony power cam. I think I've got some other cameras I'll give it a shot with and try to get more definition in there, but give it a shot, see what happens. Getting back to the pizza. One of the messages that's coming across for many people is it's time to remove the addictions, period. And it's not going to be easy. The heart attack I had back in September, I think that was part of the message for me to experience it, to live through it, to pass it on to others, because I was smoking the American Spirit Gold organic cigarettes at the time. I was doing a protein diet. I'd have like 4 eggs in the morning, a hamburger for lunch, and maybe some chicken for dinner. And I ended up losing like 30 pounds in 3 months. It's a great way to lose weight, but it's not the healthiest way to lose weight. And if you do your research, apparently numerous people will have heart attacks when they're on that kind of diet. But it was an awakening for me to eliminate these toxic addictions that I had. And you can look at food as an addiction. Obviously, the cigarettes were an addiction. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 18 years old. I forgot the brand I was smoking. I know it was a brand that I don't even think is in existence right now, but I ended up going to like Camel Lights, and then Marlboro Reds. And I remember I spent the night at a friend's house, and she smoked Marlboro Lights. And I was out of cigarettes. So that following morning, I got a cigarette from her and it tasted just like a red. So then I bumped down from the reds to the lights, and I smoked those for, until I moved to Florida. And afterwards, until I found out about the American Spirit organic cigarettes. So I started smoking those. Felt like I was doing the right thing, but it was still an addiction that I had a hard time giving up. And it took a heart attack for me to give up smoking, but I did. And anyone that is going through the addictions, whatever addictions they may be, it could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be smoking, could be eating bad food. I get it. I've been there and I'm still there. I'm still, like I said, I just had pizza, even though pizza's not horrible, you know, damn well it's, you know, processed flour. It's not organic flour. It's the tomatoes in the sauce are probably most likely GMOs. Yeah, processed cheese and all sorts of crap that goes in there. If you look here in the United States, many of us have what is called wheat belly. It's that little pouch that many of us have. On men, it looks like a beer belly. On women, it's that little pouch that they have, but we all have something going on down there. And the majority of that has to do with wheat, most likely GMO wheat, processed, some kind of processed wheat, which gives us wheat belly or gluten belly, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. If you look at people in Italy, where they do eat a lot of pasta and a lot of bread, they're not obese there. Of course, they don't have or use GMO wheat. You know, they're whatever they're having, you know, for using for the flour for their bread and their pasta is organic. So they don't have that gluten belly like we do here in the United States. But that's getting back to the main point. You know, there are addictions. We all have something probably that we're addicted to, whether it is, you know, soda and aspartame, which is poison. Who knows what it might be, you know, sugar, which is a poison in general, you know, candy or whatever. There's some kind of addictions. And right now is the time that we need to be working on purifying the vessel, purifying the body, the temple. It's not going to be easy. No one said it was going to be easy. And I think part of us wanted to experience a lot of this stuff as well, like myself. I'm sure on some level, I wanted to experience addiction because when you're on the other side of the veil, you know, everything's perfect. And sometimes, like me, especially being a triple Libra, which, like I've said before, you know, we're constantly seeking, Libras are constantly seeking balance. We're not balanced. We're constantly seeking it. And being a triple Libra, I'm on one end or the other. And I like pushing things to the limit. And I think I kind of agreed to that when I came in here. I'm like, yeah, I want to come in as a triple Libra because I really want to experience everything. And I have. I didn't expect to have a heart attack and stage 3 skin cancer, but I lived through both of them and here I am. And here you guys are. Here we all are. So it is time to work on purifying the vessel. Don't be too hard on yourself. Do the best that you can. Okay. You know, if you can only quit smoking for 4 hours and you're like, screw it, you light up again. Okay, great. That's 4 hours that you went without a cigarette. Good for you. And then maybe the next time you can quit for 6 hours or 4.5 hours, whatever, you know, find a way to cut back. Same with alcohol. You know, a lot of people that are partaking in alcohol, they think, oh, well, yeah, a glass of wine is healthy. And it is. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, with your dinner or whatever. But it's when you actually go out and partake in, you know, going to these bars and stuff, that's where all these spirits, not by coincidence, hang out over the doorways. So when you're drinking, you become susceptible to these etheric attacks. And, you're going to be bringing those energies back with you to wherever you live, and it can create chaos. Now is the time to work through that. And like I said, don't punish yourself. you know, if nothing else, all right, and you drink, you know, if nothing else, you know, have a couple drinks at your home instead of going to the bars, okay, where all those entities are. You know, cut back, find ways to cut back, and eventually you'll find ways to quit. You know, and I'm not one to tell anyone you need to do this, but I'm just suggesting that it's important. Now's the time to purify the body, and especially of all addictions. So yeah, I went shopping today. I bought a bunch of fruits and started doing my smoothies again. Ate some pineapple, had some watermelon. Watermelons, you know, I don't know if you guys knew that it's an aphrodisiac. Not that it matters to me. I have nobody. I have no girlfriend, so doesn't matter. I love watermelon though, so it's something that's yummy, and I actually put some in my smoothie this morning, along with some pineapple and blueberries and everything. Quick shout out to everyone that's on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Phil. Phil did another super chat. I appreciate that, Phil. I rolled a 7, so here you go. Shout out to everyone that's joining us on YouTube. Willow, Doug, LW, Drew, Jaleesa, Helga. Seen lots of new names. That's great. Welcome to our family. Joy Lane, Poetically Mistaken, LW, Trace, T-Light, Jock, Tamara, Alex. Lots of people here. And everyone, I'm sorry, there's just so many people. Phil, Kimmy, yeah, just lots of people here, and lots of people are joining us here as well in Zoom. We're getting people on here. And if you're in YouTube, here's the link. And if you're watching on the recorded version, that link is, as soon as this is over with, I remove all the links in the YouTube chat because they're worthless. You can never join that chat again once this is over. So there you have that. So today I went to the beach, got a little sun today, which is good. It was in the past, for the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 days. I don't know. It's been in the 60s for you guys that are living in Europe. I suck at Celsius, but I'm going to give it a shot. 15, 16, 17-ish Celsius-ish. And today it was probably, I would say 80 out, which I'm going to guess once again, 20-ish Celsius. I have no idea. It was warm enough to go to the beach and, you know, be in a bathing suit, and that's it. So whatever that is in Celsius, that's what it was. All right. It's funny how here in the United States, we just butcher the crap out of everything the English have given us. You know, the metric system. We're like, screw it. Let's go to feet and inches. Weight, you know, kilograms and whatever, meters and distances. And oh, no, we can't have that. Let's do something completely different than the rest of the world. And then we we speak English here, but we butcher the crap out of their language. You know, we think it sounds funny when people say schedule, right on schedule, old chap. Schedule is actually the way it's supposed to be pronounced, but we butcher the crap out of it. And of course, we have people like pack the car, you know, or hey, all y'all from the South. We are just finding numerous ways to butcher their language. So on behalf of all America, sorry, that's just the way we are, though. I guess it makes us us and being unique. So just a quick direction over here. We have N5D Quantum Tie-Dye just mailed out 4 shirts today. So anyone that ordered shirts overnight and this morning, they got sent out today. And for those who have ordered them after I went to the post office, they'll be out first thing in the morning. But these are amazing shirts. They have, I make these myself, and I put the 99.9% quartz crystal sand from Siesta Key into the dye. And I also use Ho'oponopono, and I put positive thoughts and intentions into it. So they're like loaded with energy. So check them out at in5d.net. Simple to find. You got in5d.com and in5d.net. So yeah, but just loaded with lots and lots of positive energies. People are having amazing dreams when they sleep in them. Great testimonials from them. Check those out as well. Also want to say hi and a quick shout out to everybody that's joined on Patreon as well. Love you all, our Patreon family. And this helps a lot too. This Patreon helps me bring you guys this platform of Zoom. I don't have the free version. I pay for this extra, and I don't mind doing it. And I'm asking for the help also of people on Patreon, and they've came through for me. So anyone that joins on Patreon, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You're helping me to bring this to everyone, and I appreciate that. You're also helping me to get my server up there, a dedicated server, which they are. If anyone ever had a website, they know that they're not cheap. So that's in order to host in 5D. So we have different levels, like $1.11. You get alerted about the upcoming live Zoom chats like today. And you get listed on the in5D wall of Eternal Gratitude page on in5D. And at 5:55, you get that as well as ad-free articles. And on the first Wednesday of every month, we have the Insiders Club private chat. So stuff that just stays between us. It's stuff I'm not going to say on here publicly, as well as anyone else. You know, that whatever comes on there stays on there. And 11:11, you get all that, plus the Afterthoughts video material and the exclusive mid-month energy report video, which will be coming out soon. So, and then there's other levels as well. I just want to thank everyone that has joined us on Patreon. It means a great deal to me. Much love to all of our Patreon family. Okay. Want to remind you guys that on Wednesday, February 26th, I have Adrienne Goff coming on. She's a crystal expert, and you're gonna, if you know her, you love her, right? Just type in her name. Just type in GOFF on this in the search bar on in5D, and you'll find a bunch of articles by Adrienne, and just fantastic. Special crystals for star seeds is one of the articles that just comes to mind. But she'll be on here as a guest at 12 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday, February 26th. So if you have any crystal questions you want to ask Adrienne, she's the one to ask. She is a genius. And like I said, if you know her, you love her. And if you haven't met her yet, you will, and you'll love her. Okay. And we're going to be covering crystals for the chakras, but you can ask her any questions at the end about crystals, and she knows the answer. So definitely check that out. Last thing I want to cover before we get on to the Age of Aquarius is this. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Let me, all right. I'll get to the screen share here. But have you guys seen this today? Apparently there's this broomstick challenge going on where people are standing up their broomsticks all over the world. And the broomsticks are just like, there it is, standing up on their own, you know? And I did that. Mine's standing up right over here, as a matter of fact. So yeah, this was from a friend of mine who sent this to me in a private message. And let me get out of the screen share real quick. So we got this broomstick challenge. Oops, hang on. I just going on, and there's mine. I'm standing up on its own. Stand your broom up, and it's right there. There it is, standing up on its end, hanging out. So yeah, I didn't upload that, but there you have it. It's pretty funny. Apparently what they're saying is, according to NASA, today is the day that anyone can stand their broom up, and it's just some strange phenomenon. Now, I have the feeling that you can do that with a broom anytime. And I don't have one of those brooms that, is flat on the bottom. It's got the angled edge on it, and it's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it's standing up angled. So I don't know if you guys have done that, but and yeah, I have a feeling you can probably do that any time of the year. So are we having fun yet? So we're going to get into the Age of Aquarius. How exciting this is. The first thing we're going to cover is from an article called Age of Aquarius and Fifth Dimension Trivia. As always, at the end of the night, I'll put all the links in the more info section of this video. So we all heard that song, right? This is the dawning, Age of Aquarius, right? We've all heard that song, and it's done by a band called, of all things, the band's name was The Fifth Dimension. What a great name for a band that did the song Age of Aquarius. So it made it to #1 on the Billboard for 6 weeks in 1969. Little trivia. 2 of the original Fifth Dimension members played in a band called the Hi-Fis in the early 1960s, and they reformed the band with several new members, and they changed the name to the Versatiles in early 1966, but quickly changed it to the Fifth Dimension as suggested by one of their original band members. So why 5D? Why the Fifth Dimension? The name The Versatiles was a reference to their varied style in music, but producer Johnny Rivers thought the name was outdated. He wanted a newer sounding name for the group. Shortly afterwards, Ron Townsend came up with The Fifth Dimension. The group's name was changed to something more up to date, recalled Lamont McLemore. Ron and his wife Babette named the group The Third Dimension originally because 3D had just came out, those 3D sunglasses back in the 60s. But since the group was made up of 5 of us, it was named The Fifth Dimension. So is it coincidence or synchronicity? Many people find it quite ironic that a band called The Fifth Dimension would perform a futuristic song that has implications of the 5th dimensional vibratory level. It's pretty cool. So when is the Age of Aquarius? The actual date is highly debatable, even among professional astronomers. According to Estelle Daniels, the traditional classical astrologers will probably say the Age of Aquarius won't begin until 2300 or so, when the vernal equinox reaches the last star in the constellation Aquarius. Other astrologers will say the Age of Aquarius will begin anywhere from 1910 to 2410, depending on when the vernal equinox point hits the place 1 second more than 30 degrees behind Aries. But after further review, and you'll see how this all ties in, Samuel on War, or Weor, W-E-O-R. How do you pronounce that? Weor? Weor. It sounds like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Samael, S-A-M-A-E-L, S-A-M-A-E-L, Samael on Weor. Weor. The founder of the Gnostic movement tells us that the Age of Aquarius began on February 4th, 1962. On that day, there occurred a very interesting astronomical and astrological event. The planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, along with the Sun, the Earth, and the Moon, were all found in the constellation of Aquarius. In addition, a solar and lunar eclipse occurred, which was visible in some parts of the Old World. The cosmic event that transpired on that day is extremely rare. Such a congregation of planets occurs only once every 2160 years, and that's about the approximate time of an age, like the age of Pisces or the age of Taurus. Moving from one constellation to the next. Each time it happens, it marks the beginning of a new era or a new age for humanity. February 4th, 1962 marked the end of an age of Pisces and the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So if you do the math, according to the Gnostics, the age of Aquarius began on February 4th, 1962, which is 2 years after I was born. About a year and a half, actually. So up 1962, this is interesting, 1962 until 2012, there's a difference of 50 years, okay? And then up until this year, 2020, it's been 58 years since February 4th, which almost to the day, actually to the day, a week ago. So it's been 58 years and 1 week to this day that we're doing this broadcast, that the age of Aquarius started according to the Gnostics. So if that song made it to number 1 in 1969, I think the album came out in 68, honestly, but it was probably written during the Summer of Love back in 1967. It's just interesting how it all lays down so perfectly. So that's a little trivia on the age of Aquarius. I have another article that I wrote on in 5D called Astrotheology and the Age of Aquarius. So according to Jordan Maxwell's interpretation of the Bible in Luke 22:10, the age of Pisces ends when the 12 followers ask the apostle Jesus, "Where are we to go when you leave this world?" And Jesus tells his apostles, "Go into the city, you will see a man carrying a pitcher of water. Go into the house of the man with the water pitcher." The symbol of the age of Aquarius is of a man carrying a pitcher of water. According to Jordan Maxwell, in the ancient world, no man ever carried water. That was unheard of in the ancient world, stated Maxwell. Men don't carry water. Woman would go to the well and woman would get the water. Never would a man go to get water. That was a woman's job. The Last Supper in the age of Pisces, the two fish, and now the Last Supper was in the age of Pisces, the two fish, and now we are going into the house of the man with the water pitcher, the next 2,000 years coming, which is called the kingdom of God. Bill Donohue's research takes Jordan Maxwell's research one step further. According to Donohue, this is really interesting. Pay attention here. The age of Pisces was ruled by Jupiter, religion, right? Which supported greed, wealth, achievement, and the banking institutions. As the energy of the age of Aquarius becomes stronger, its ruling planet, Uranus, will overturn any greed and avarice. Donohue stated that Uranus is the spirit. You know what Uranus is doing? He's coming in and chasing the money changers out of the temple, the banking system, right? This is why we're seeing a collapse of the banking systems, and we have been seeing that collapse since 2008 here in the United States, right at the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn. Additionally, Donohue's research revealed that the ruling planet of Uranus was known in ancient text as heaven. The word heaven in Greek, as translated in the Bible, is Oranos. So actually, when the Bible speaks of the kingdom of heaven, what is being translated out of the scriptures is the kingdom of Uranus, and nobody knows it. If you're religious, you're not allowed to know this, because if you find this out and learn how to follow this kingdom, Suddenly, you find out that religion is a fraud, according to Bill Donahue. He's a genius when it comes to, I don't know if any of you guys out there follow Bill Donahue. If not, I highly recommend finding him on YouTube and checking out his videos. You guys all know I am not religious, but he makes religion into something that's understandable and easy to digest. Donahue expressed the importance of meditation and, in particular, the opening of the pineal gland, because the Christ within and the only way to get to it is through the pineal gland and meditation. So lastly, I just want to go into this article called Your Graduation into the Age of Aquarius, another article I wrote, I think back in 2015. Yeah, March 20th, 2015. An astrological age lasts approximately 2,150 years, and it follows the precession of the equinoxes. With 12 signs in the zodiac, it takes approximately 25,800 years to complete one full cycle through the signs. We are currently in the Age of Aquarius, in my opinion, right now. The Bible can be viewed as a metaphor for astrotheology. When Moses brought back the commandments from God, his people were worshiping a golden calf, or in zodiac terms, the age of Taurus. This was the transition point into the age of Pisces, symbolized by the twin fish. As the story goes, Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Both Jesus, the Son of God, and the fish represent the next 2,150 years in Christian theology. As the story continues, it was written, "Behold, when you have entered the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him into the house which he enters." This is the age of Aquarius that's hidden in the Bible through metaphor. And this is what's going to happen. You guys have all seen those Jesus fish, right? On the back of cars. You'll see the fish right there. And well, that's going to change. And it's going to change really soon from that fish to something of Aquarius. Like the sign for Aquarius is the waves of water. It's also the man pouring the water as well. But it's the astrological sign itself is just these 3 water waves. And that's what we're going to start seeing on the back of people's cars. In the near future, there will be a new world order, but it won't be called that. It's going to be something completely different. It actually will work in the best interests of humanity. That new world order thing was co-opted by those in power. It's not, it could be the best thing ever. It will not be called that, but this is where we're heading. It'll be more of a new order of peace and coexistence for the world than what the new world order was something that worked on the premise of tyranny and oppression. We are graduating to a type 1 civilization, and this is one of the reasons why we're seeing so many UFOs lately. They have arrived to welcome us as their galactic neighbors. These new energies of Aquarius are constantly increasing, which is why we're seeing an exponential growth in spiritual awareness. These energies will be responsible for people looking inwards for answers versus externally, such as the belief that Jesus will save you. And this is where many of us are the introverts, and we go within for the answers. Religion played an important role in the previous belief system of all cultures as a means for guidance, morality, and faith. But the new energies will guide us to a more interpersonal connection with our creator source that bypasses religion. Even the Roman Catholic Church knows the truth, as evidenced by their last-ditch efforts of trying to convert ETs to Christianity. I don't know if you guys remember, but that was back in 2015 where that article first came out, that the Roman Catholic Church said that if they have contact with extraterrestrials, they're going to try to convert them to Christianity. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we have these beings that are capable of traveling through time and space at the speed of light, which we're incapable of doing, that are millennia ahead of us in technology and intelligence, and we want to throw them back in the Stone Age and have them follow Jesus as well. That's not going to float. Surely a higher form of intelligence wouldn't fall for this. Imagine if they did. What would a higher form of intelligence use to tithe a church when they don't rely on money? The Roman Catholic Church has no other option than to extend their hands to the ETs because they're already here, and that alone will collapse religion and our current belief systems. Within these energies, many truths will be officially disclosed, yet many people already know these truths. The lies and deceptions of all world governments will lead to their demise as well, because only the highest forms of energy will be able to continue to thrive in this new era. Pluto and Capricorn, we're seeing the collapse of that's not in highest vibration of exposed right now. Look at the left when they were trying to do this impeachment scam here in the United States. It fell apart completely and will not be allowed to happen. Once again, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, but you can tell what is in the highest and greatest good for humanity by what's allowed to stay and what is falling by the wayside. So the transition is already happening at a remarkable pace. Unfortunately, this won't happen overnight as the energies are still transitioning, but it will happen in our lifetime. The next 5 to 10 years will show a complete collapse of the money system, which is not needed for a type 1 civilization. Pluto is known as the destroyer and will tear down everything that is not in humanity's best interest. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn was in the 1700s during both the French and American revolutions, which we're seeing right now as history is repeating itself. So planet Earth is a university, get it? In which many star nations have come to learn these lessons, as well as to teach other higher forms of intelligence about how these star nations can get along with one another. The new energies of Aquarius will help to facilitate this change. Your incarnation is your final exam, and graduation is imminent. So, we're going to open up the chat room. At that point, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to paste. If you want to join us on Zoom, you're more than welcome to. And I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's here joining us in Zoom right now. Thank you for joining us. Our microphones are unmuted if you want to join in.
Hello, Greg, and everybody
Hi,
else.
Phil. Thanks again for the super chat. I greatly appreciate that.
You bet, man.
What are your thoughts? Do you think that we're in the age of Aquarius right now, or are we about to enter it?
Yeah, no, I've been saying that for a while, Greg. I can't say that astronomically that it's true, only that we're in February, so that's the month for Aquarius. So it's appropriate. So I guess the sun is going into Libra, I'm thinking. But on that one.
How old are you, Phil?
66, man.
Okay, so you remember the summer of love, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
In that energy.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool time. I wasn't making love then, but
No, I was way too young for that. I was only, I think, 6. I didn't know what making love was.
I think it was about, let's see, 63, I was 9. So yeah, 64, I was at 10.
So if the age of Aquarius began on February 4th, 1962, that would put you at 8 years old during the birth of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, right. If it happened then. And I kind of think it's, I mean, if you go back and look at the Anunnaki, Maldek, or I can't even remember the name of that dude. Anyway, it was one of Inky's sons, and he was always arguing about that it was his age. I think
Marduk.
Leo.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a hard thing to calculate out because we're talking astronomical distances here. So really, yeah, I'm saying I think that was what 2012 was all about. Really.
Okay, well, hypothetically, okay, let's say that, okay, here's the age of Aquarius that we entered in. Let's go here. We entered that in 1962. So it's kind of like the photon belt that we entered.
Hobbs' post?
No.
So Chris Hobbs is being Chris
hang on.
Hobbs. I
Okay.
think he got married.
Just had to mute Dawn. It's kind of like, once again, I hate when that happens because you lose your train of thought, but it's kind of like the photon belt. When we entered the photon belt, when you're on the outside part of that photon belt, the photons are just lightly coming in, but they're coming in. It's just like the age of Aquarius. When we're on the outside part of that 2,150 years, if we entered that in February of 1962, here we are only 58 years into it with 2,000 years ahead of us. So we're looking at a space, a point in space that big that we've only entered a tiny sliver into. So you wouldn't expect those energies to be full force, just like the photon belt. As we go deeper and deeper into the photon belt, we're finding more and more photons are changing everything around us, including our sun, which has gone from yellow to white, and every planet in our solar system.
Right. Well, in 62 to 2012, I mean, that's what, about 40 years?
50 years.
Yeah, we would start noticing it about then, I would think, or feeling energies. Let's say feeling.
Well, what we have noticed, I think, at least in my lifetime, is that transition into the fourth dimension where thoughts are manifesting quicker than ever. I was just talking. I went to the beach earlier today and I did my walk of gratitude, and then I played a little bocce ball to get a little exercise in. And one of my beach buddies was there, and he was talking. He's going to India for some celebration that's going on. And interestingly, so is Andy Monks. He's going to India for the similar celebration. But he was talking about how things seem to be manifesting quicker and quicker. And he doesn't really follow in 5D or it's spiritual stuff, but he just is one of those people that just kind of gets it naturally. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to him about that. I'm like, yeah, thoughts are manifesting quicker than ever right now. So to everyone out there, just be careful where you're placing your thoughts and intentions because they are manifesting quickly.
Yeah. No, I got a message on that a couple of years ago about really watching, and I've talked about it on my YouTube too. Mm-hmm. So, right. Because I mean, a couple of things I wanted to give to the group here that I came across. One of them is a new mantra, and it's Om Tare Tum Soha, and it's a prayer to Red Tara, and it's supposed to bring protection, lots of real strong protection. So I know
protection for Mother Earth.
Well, protection for the person chanting it, and by the fact that person is on Mother Earth, and there's protection from Mother Earth too. So it's okay. I mean, I look at the Tara as kind of as Mother Earth,
right?
At least a form of her.
So I see we have more people that have joined us here. Hi, Kimmy. You're just going to wave and not talk?
Do not be shy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
So what are your thoughts? Do you think that we've crossed into the age of Aquarius?
I don't know. I haven't really been reading up on that recently.
Mhm.
It's been a while since I read about it. So I
Well,
know we're
it's my belief.
moving into some changes. I do know that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you were talking about how you've been, you know, teaching how thoughts are becoming manifestations to your family, right?
Yeah. And it seems to be helping them
Mhm.
deal with things that are going on with them.
Well, it is happening. It's happening faster and more
Yeah.
frequently now that we have, as far as I'm concerned, we are in the age of Aquarius. I agree with the Gnostics that that happened about 58 years ago in 1962. Hence, it's no coincidence that shortly after the Gnostics believed that the age of Aquarius began, the Fifth Dimension band came out with that song, Age of Aquarius, right?
Right.
Have you ever sang that song in karaoke?
No, but I used to sing it when I was little. Run around the house singing it all the time.
Yeah. My parents actually bought that album. I remember. Yeah. What you got there?
So this is the soft deck, and this is
Yeah.
the star. This is the
Oh, wow.
symbol.
That's Aquarius.
I know.
Yeah. Did
Pretty
you
much.
just draw that or did you
No,
search for
I've
it?
been looking for it.
Okay. Kimmy, you
So,
saw that card in that reading that you showed me.
oh yeah, it was in that reading, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I would say the star is indication of the age of Aquarius. I mean, it's the
Definitely.
same symbology, really.
Yes. That is the tarot card for Aquarius. Yeah.
So if you get that in a reading, yeah, you can look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
One of the possible interpretations.
I know that my sign is Libra and it's the Justice card. So
Right. Yeah, I had that one. It's a little more starker in the thought deck, as justice would be, I guess.
yeah. Oh yeah, the scales. It makes perfect sense, right?
Right. Yeah.
Also, which I found interesting, I was told by this one person that in a past life I was Archangel Raguel. I'm like, okay, whatever. But
Archangel who?
exactly. That's what I said. Who? Raguel. I'm like, I have no idea who this dude is. So I looked him up, and apparently he's like the one that kind of like gets them all together and says, you do this, you do that, kind of delegates responsibilities and stuff like that.
He's
But
the boss.
Archangel Raguel is also, if you were to see a picture of him, he's holding the scales. Also, he's the Justice card in tarot, and he also represents Libra. So this guy didn't know I'm a triple Libra, so I just thought it was interesting. I take all that stuff with a grain of salt anyway, but I just found the coincidence of the whole Libra thing quite astounding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No doubt. My only archangel that I feel connected to would be Archangel Raphael, but I think that's just because I'm in the healing, energy healing.
Yeah.
And that's why he comes to me or helps me out in healing when I'm trying to do healing. He's down with that. He's cool with that.
Yeah. So once again, everybody here is unmuted if you want to join, and I'm going to post the link in the YouTube chat room if you want to join us. And Thomas saying triple Libra explains a lot. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm not your typical guru. I'm not a guru, but I'm just like out there and I'm over there. I'm everywhere except right here where I need to be, and I'm working on
you just
that.
break the mold wherever you go.
Yeah. Just a ton of
I
energy
am.
everywhere.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Plastic Alley
Hey,
Cat. Do you have a real
hi.
name that I can call you other than Plastic?
People call me Kat.
Okay. You're being shy.
It's my
Okay.
initials, K-A-T, Kat.
Okay. All right.
Katrinka is the name. It's just Kat is shorter.
You still haven't
But
figured out the picture.
no,
how to
but
get
I
your...
did. I did figure out how to put my picture on there. I don't know how to go live. Like how do I put myself on here?
Lower left-hand corner, right next
I'm
to
not-
you. It's
Picture, the picture that your name is in,
Mm-hmm.
at, and look down at the bottom, there should be a microphone
Well, no,
and then
camera.
a camera. You can
Yeah,
tap
You wanna
those,
click
it'll be
camera.
live.
Oh, camera. Okay, I got it.
there you are.
Hey!
Ah,
Hey.
Kimmy. Yeah,
I
I need
am.
somebody to explain that from a cell phone. I've never accessed this from a cell. It's always on my laptop. So
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
get it.
I'm a
Yeah.
Libra and Gemini rising with a
So-
little bit of Leo. So I always call myself a triple air sign with a little ring of fire. So I'm a handful.
Oh, Leo's fire. Yeah. So I can see
Yeah.
that going together with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Do you find that Libra, that part of Libra that you are is seeking that balance at all times, trying to find that balance?
I'd like to say that I'm pretty balanced. I think I'm pretty balanced. I project balance. Sometimes I don't feel it, but I think I'm pretty grounded. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't have that much chaos that I put into the world, but I do deal with chaos. But yeah, well, I'm pretty
I
grounded.
find that the Libra in me wants to jump into everything full force, 120%. And I know 100% is the most you can go, but for Libras, we can go further than that. 'cause
Yeah,
that's what
I
we do.
give 100%, but I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
I'm very reserved. I think a lot. And Libras also see all sides of the situation.
Yeah.
So we see it
Okay.
all.
Well, what about this? Do you have any issues? I have this. I can't make up my mind about anything. Don't ask me to make a decision.
Having 5 kids, I had to make snap decisions. So
You're not a typical Libra.
I had to fine tune that. Yeah. I am very reserved and quiet and private. I'm an extremely private person. Like the other day, it was the first time I've ever been on here and spoke about my life, and I'm private. It's quiet, private.
Well, I
Yeah,
have to
grounded.
tell you, when you were talking the other day, you spoke so eloquently about
Thank
things.
you. I am a bereavement counselor. I've been trained in public speaking as a motivational and a transformational. I've done stuff like that. So I'm also everybody's mom. like my kids would bring kids home and I'm the mom. So I'm full of stories. I'm full of them, testimonies, full of it. Days I
So
didn't
what are
realize
you
you were.
feeling about the Age of Aquarius? Do you think it started, or do you think we're entering it, or about to enter it, or?
I see time differently since my heart attack. I've always seen time a little different. I don't really go too far into the future. I just see today as the present, but I don't really label. I don't have labels for anything. You know what I mean? And I'm not fully versed on astrology. Like I don't look up my horoscope, and I don't seek out people to do tarot readings. I don't have anything against that. They're gifted people. Everybody to me is gifted, but that's just not something that I've ever really dove deep into. So I'm not going to throw out, stuff that I don't know about. But if you say so, okay.
Okay, just wondering what drew you into this conversation today then with the Age of Aquarius.
Well, you know what? It was like, okay, so I got myself on Zoom. Let's see. I'm trying to one step at a time. So it's like, I got myself on here. Let's see, what else do I need to do? So I'm learning.
Okay.
But I saw you pop on, and I checked my notifications when I picked my phone, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if I can play with this again. So I'm just
Well, I'm
playing.
glad you made it on, and I'm glad you got the notification. For those who have not subscribed, make sure you do, and make sure you do hit that bell notification, because it does work for some people.
I did check out your in 5D t-shirt, and it said that you had an option for a credit card, but you only did PayPal. And I don't do PayPal. I was hacked into not too long ago.
Mhm.
I lost hundreds of dollars through. They were doing charges on credit cards that I didn't even own. So I just shut down everything that I had, PayPal wise, Amazon Prime, AOL. It's a nightmare. I'm just coming up out of all of that. But I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't buy a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well,
I did
that's
send
the
a
only way I
message
can do it
in.
right now,
Okay.
unfortunately. So
Okay. That's okay. That's
well,
cool.
thanks anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't my shirt.
So the chat room is open right now. Everyone is unmuted. If anyone wants to jump in, you're more than welcome to. I'm just posting the link once again in YouTube if you want to join us. It's really easy to do. Follow the link. You'll
I
have a little
did.
pop-up and
I,
just follow the information there. You only have to do that one time. You'll have to just download the software one time. After that, you don't have to download it. It just, you click the link and here you are joining us
yeah.
live.
Hi, I'm living proof.
Yeah.
I did see your video on the ideology, the eye,
Mhm.
and I'm in the bathroom. I'm taking pictures, and it's like, oh my god, my eyes are so brown. They're like almost black, and it's like, all right, I was getting ready to go to the grocery store because I'm going full fruit now. It's like, okay, because I had the heart attack too, so I'm going full fruit now. And I picked up my phone, and I saw you were on here, and I'm like heading out the door to go to the grocery store. So I just wanted to pop in and make sure that I know how to do this and say hello, and that I caught that. And my eyes are brown, like black. I'm like, oh God. But I'm doing this whole fruit thing too. So
I'll be bringing Andy back the first week of March. So it'll be
yeah, I
interesting.
saw
We'll
that.
talk more
Yeah.
about that then.
Yeah, I'm gonna take progression pictures as well. And don't want to get you off topic here, but I wanted to say hi and master this thing, and I did it.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So you all have a great night. God bless you all.
Nice to
Right
put
there.
a
You
face
too.
to the name.
Take care, Kat.
Right, exactly. I thought that too. It was like, okay, let me put my face out there. I'm like this
You
green-eyed
did it.
monster. I did.
It's not that
All
bad.
right. Yeah, no,
All right, have
one
a good
step at a
night.
time. You too.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Take care, Kat. So yeah, for those watching in YouTube land, that's how easy it is to do. Wasn't that
Until
hard?
you try
was
to
it, Kimmy?
figure out how to get out. How how do I get out?
Kim?
Click on your
Just-
picture again, and it says leave. And click it.
Whoops.
No, still here. It's like Groundhog Day. So put your little hand in mine. So put your little hand in mine. Oh, I'm watching her bouncing. She did it. There.
I'm not singing with you.
What's that?
I said I'm not singing with
Oh, she's
you.
back. So put your little hand in mine. You're not saying, you're not going to do a duet with me?
No.
No,
Oh, she's gone. It
for
worked.
now. Groundhog Day. That's funny. So we have somebody coming in right now. Dubstep is joining us. We have Jackie and Dawn, Gary, Rob, Sarah. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, you're more than welcome to. So Anne in YouTube is saying, that makes me braver to do it at Plastic Alley Cat. So yeah, you can do it. Just about all of us here are introverts. So if we can do it, you can do it. Got like 106 people in YouTube. 106 introverts in YouTube that don't want to join us.
You
I
know,
know that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there is one thing I have in common with you in my astrology is that my ascendant is Libra. So I'm always going towards balance too. That's my outward appearance anyway.
Do you find that you have a tendency to go 110% into something once you find out about it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can be a berserker on things.
Mhm.
And just go balls to the wall.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll say, you know what? I need to buy a treadmill, and I'll buy it and I'll use it for like a month or two, or some free weights. I'll buy them and just go balls to the wall for 2-3 months, and it'll all gather dust because I'll find something else that I'm balls to the wall to.
Yeah. No, I'm guilty of that a bit. Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say. But some things I come back to, like yoga and even the weights. So, I'll see them and I say, oh, I should pick those up and work with them. It's a work in progress, right?
Yes.
And
Jeannie is saying in the chat room, I have to say I'm checking out the iridology and the fruit diet. Very excited to do that. Thank you, Greg, for bringing that info forward. You're welcome, Jeannie. Cryptnosis is saying we are in the age of Aquarius. There are levels to everything. We're now transitioning into the level of this awesome time that we live in. Embrace and enjoy. I totally agree. We are in the age of Aquarius.
right. And one thing we should remember about the precession of the species, precession of the equinoxes. It takes 72 years to go 1 degree.
1 degree.
So if 1962 was the beginning of it, we won't even get to 1 degree until, well, actually, I guess we should be getting to it about now. When I think about it, it's
It'd
almost
be about 10 years from now, maybe.
within this decade.
Yeah. Right now we're at 58 years into it. So it's another 12 years from now, which would be 2032
Mm-hmm.
to move 1 degree into it. Right. That's a good point.
And go to that other date. What did you say? 2300 or something like that. That would be like 5 or 6 degrees into the Aquarius, which we'll definitely know it by then. We'll be able to see it, right?
I don't think we'll be here by then. Well, one way or the other, we won't be here.
Right. You and I won't be here.
No.
Probably.
Well,
But
2300, 2400, nobody will be.
we might come back, Greg. You never can tell. I used to think, no, I'm not coming back. I'm done with this stuff. And but if it was the age of Aquarius, the golden age, I might like to try that. I feel like I was in on the last of the golden age when we started to really things really went bad in Atlantis. I kind of have memories of the fall of Atlantis.
I was there. Yeah. I was there for that. I was there at the end of Atlantis, and apparently right at the end, if this happened in 1962, I was born in 1960, so I was there at the end of the age of Pisces as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's an interesting time to be around. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Have this incense burning right now. It just smells amazing. I wish I knew what it is. I have this jar of incense, and there's just like odds and ends that I put in there, and I forget which ones are which, and which sucks because I don't know which one I need to rebuy. That's what I'm smelling right now.
Hey,
Okay,
everybody.
there, yay. Hi, welcome. Finally made it in. Hi, Tracy.
I did. Hi, I'm not going to go video because I'm all over the place right now, but I had a question for everybody. You mentioned manifestation, which mine is off the charts. I'm learning to be very cautious and careful with what my intentions are and what I speak. But at the same time, I'm having some serious advancing in the light language. So I was wondering if there's anybody else here that practices that or has anything to add to like what their experiences are.
Oh yeah, Tracy. Yeah. Oh
what
yeah.
kind of changes are you noticing?
Well, I'm just getting a lot of pressure to share it.
Yeah.
And I've kind of resisted because I don't really understand it that well. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying, so that makes me a little nervous. I'm trying to rationalize it in some way that, well, if my intent is good, my heart is coming from my heart, then it's probably okay.
Yeah. What I'm finding, I had a really serious download about a week ago, maybe a little less than a week ago, in the middle of the night, and it woke me up, and it was regarding light codes and how they are basically transferred and how they create manifestation. So what I was told is that I should continue. I do it every morning during my morning meditation, but I need to watch for the manifestations of those things. So when you kind of surrender to it, at least this is my experience. I'm just looking for some feedback from anybody that vibes with this. My experience is that when I surrender to it, I'm kind of like in a hypnotic state, almost like I can tell it's not coming from me. As soon as I try to focus in on it, I lose the connection. But if I surrender to it, it comes through so beautiful. And I kind of get downloads at the same time of what it's going to manifest. Like, and I'm just being told right now, I think I'm still kind of being taught this new energy, but I'm kind of being told to watch for the manifestations. Like, it's hard to explain. I'm just having trouble putting it into words, but if that makes sense at all, I'm just trying to kind of feel out.
Oh yeah.
If there's anybody else that can resonate with that and maybe fill in the blanks for me a little bit.
Well, I mean, what I can say is that that was kind of my compromise, is that, well, I'm going to go ahead and let it flow through me, but I'm just not going to record it, but I'm going to see what it does to me.
Right.
And I'll have to say certain tones or words that let's call them words. They're the root words. Their etymology, I think, is the name of that, where every word is actually composed of, like those 3 syllables.
Are you noticing new syllables though?
Right. Well, yeah. No, I'm there. Yeah. Sometimes it's 2. Sometimes it's 3. Usually doesn't go too much over 3. And let's see what else I say about it.
Do you find yourself speaking it all the time, or do you sing? Do you sometimes sing it in like a, kind of a chant?
It comes kind of in a song. I actually wrote an article on it called Soul Song.
Oh, really?
On that exact thing, that if you listen to other people speaking it, and certainly when I do it, it seems like it's got all the parts of the song. You got your verse, and then you got your chorus, and you got your verse and chorus. So I mean, they might be repeating love, love, love. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just taking note of the patterns and stuff. So I was just kind of curious.
Yeah,
I think that we're going to see a lot more people engaging in it, and I'm wondering how cool would it be to put like 20 people.
I don't speak the language as much as I interpret what I hear.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of like Paul Dobry Carey. He does that interpretation.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's yeah, Paul is the master interpreter there.
So
teacher of
wait.
that.
Well, maybe Tracy, you could do some light language, and we have an interpreter here. Or Phil, you got, and we can see what you guys are saying.
Okay, hold on. I have to get into a certain state of mind to do this.
I do
Okay.
too. I have
Yes.
here. I have
We
to
could do a show for that, Greg, though, because I would love that. I mean, I would totally get in a meditation state before the show, and I would be happy to do that. That would be so fun.
I have to see the person doing I have to see the person doing the light language, and from that I can interpret it.
Hmm. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, we can do a show on that. I know a couple other people that do light language. So that'd be great. Get a bunch of different light language people on here, and
Mm-hmm.
that'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm in. I would love that.
Are you able to hear me?
Someone's got a lot of feedback going on, or not feedback, but
Background.
background. Is that Kathy? I think. Hang on, let me mute. Yeah, once I muted Kathy,
Are you all
background.
able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is my first time on Zoom, so I'm learning too. So thank you.
Oh, our pleasure.
Mhm.
Glad you can make it. Kim can explain to you how to get your picture up, your video up if you want.
I don't know if I'm quite ready for
Okay.
that,
Baby
but
steps.
I'll keep working at it and see where it goes. But I
Okay.
can, if I can see the person do the light language, I am able to intuit. I don't know if it's my intuition or my American Indian heritage or what, but I know what they're saying. It's like the first time I ever saw it, I heard my grandmother, my great grandmother, who was a full blood, speaking. I could hear those words, and I knew what she was saying, because even as a small child, when she would speak to me in Osage, I knew what she was saying.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Mine sounds a lot like Native American singing sometimes.
I've heard Phil do it. He did it. You did that one time here, and it sounded like it had a Native American flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That'd
well,
be great.
I'm gonna say something about Native Americans and the Pleiadians. There's a really strong connection between those two people.
That makes sense because I've been told I'm Pleiadian descent in my first hypnosis, so I connect with that for sure.
Yeah, so
Well, of course, one of the seven sisters is called Maya, M-A-I-A.
and there's Taygeta, and I can't remember any of the others. Okay.
Yeah, there's an article on N5D about the Maya Pleiades connection.
Nice.
But yeah, there's one, like I said, one of the seven sisters is called Maya, M-A-I-A. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where the Maya came from. The Maya actually had one extra vertebrae that the rest of us don't have. They're not from here. And wherever they went en masse, according to Dolores Cannon, they probably, ascended on before us back in the 1600s, something like that. But yeah.
Right. Corey Good says that he got pulled up to one of their ships and basically it's a stone ship. It's like a stone cylinder. All their equipment is made of stone, but it lights up. It was a pretty interesting thing. So yeah, I believe the Mayans have ascended, and yeah, they probably came from the Pleiades.
Jackie, if I can ask, how old are you?
Whoa.
You with us, Jackie? The reason I ask is because she mentioned that her great grandmother was the one that, you know, she was speaking the light language, and that must have been awfully difficult back whenever that was. I mean, it was maybe, you know, 50, 60 years ago that, you know, 70 years ago that people would be accused in Christianity of speaking tongues. And if anyone had been caught speaking like that, you know, depending on what era we're talking about, could have been anywhere burned at the stake to kicked out of the church to being locked up in a mental ward.
Well, it depends on the church, really. Let's see. I can't remember which sect it is that they actually promote that. And I think they still promote it even today. I wish I could remember what it's called. I don't know, man. It's I studied the Christianity in my youth, and basically became agnostic because I saw so many different Christian churches saying ours is the only way. This is the way. Those other people are wrong. And I got to thinking, wait a minute, you're all saying that. What the heck's going on here? So
There's
yeah.
so many contradictions in the Bible too. You know, it says one thing and then the other, and then you look at all the sacrifices that are going on there. How many times people get killed and wiped out, and a lot of death. It's a death cult.
Well, yeah, I mean, the destruction of Jericho, I think they killed every man, woman, and child, even the animals. So yeah, it's not been a real peaceful religion in its past, for darn sure. And yeah, I mean, it's all rife with dogma, right? And it's all about control. Religion is, the word itself is to hold back or to control, to toe the line, so to speak.
Well, I think that's part of what 5D is. It's moving beyond religion, the need for organized religion, and realizing that you know, like the Hopi said, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the light at that's at the end of the tunnel, and it's believing in yourself, you know, and taking that forward, moving forward. You know, people have that brainwashed belief that you have to believe in something outside of yourself, whether it's Jesus, Muhammad, whatever, you know, all these whatever religious creatures that there are. But the truth is, just got to believe in yourself. I mean, even if I'm wrong, Jesus, quotation marks, said, you can do all I can do and more. So, you know, I can save myself, right?
Yeah, no, you indeed, just like you have to heal yourself, you got to save yourself. It's all on us. It's all on us. We got to do it for the divine, or we got to be the divine.
Yeah, I beat a stage 3 cancer and a heart attack without religion. Here I am. Still here, still kicking.
So going back to Maya, do you think Maya and Gaia are sisters?
That's a great point. If you look at the entity, the planet itself of Maya, and then Gaia, Terra, Mother Earth, yeah, that's a great point. Good correlation.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Just made me think of it.
Yeah.
And like Tracy was saying, I think it's really important to surrender, and you'll find that the world opens up a lot more when you realize that when you're falling back, that creator source, whatever you want to call that entity, is there and it's catching you. That you are in good hands, which are your own hands. Basically, you're catching yourself, but realizing that you're there. Maybe it's your higher self that's catching you.
Right.
But know that.
This is what I was going to say. I can surrender to my higher self. I don't see any issue with that at all. And, you know, and I admonish people to be the best that they can, which is what their higher self would say.
I think it's really about maintaining the connection, and how strong is that connection, and how well are you able to, you know, maintain it and make the full connection. Because once you're there, you don't want to return, you know, you really don't have any desire to. It's like you have so much of a pull toward your higher self. I mean, if I could meditate all day and it would pay my bills, I probably would. You know?
What is it that gets you into that state, Tracy, of surrender? What leads you into that state?
What leads me
right from the start?
For me, it's I make the connection to source, and then I ground myself with the earth, with Gaia, and then I pull that energy into my heart space. And once I'm in my heart space, I can pretty much do just about anything, you know, setting the intention, sending beautiful energies out to other people and to the earth and to the masses. And that's where the connection happens for me. And that's when the beauty comes out. It's like so many beautiful things can come of that. It's just really, how far do you want to go? How much time do you have? And, you know, what do you want to manifest? And manifestation is just incredibly off the charts right now. I can't even say it enough. So I just really think that we all need to be mindful and self-aware how we not only say things, but what we think, what we allow into our minds, into our imaginations, because we're coming into that age of knowing, and there's not going to be much. I think we will manifest whatever is in our heart. Whatever we allow in that space is what we're going to manifest.
I was watching this Joe Dispenza video, and he starts out by saying, imagine if you could wake up and you knew that at the beginning of the day you could manifest anything. Would you do it? And people are like, yeah. But how many of us actually do that? The first thing in the morning, how many of us manifest the day that we want? That's how powerful we are. That's what people don't want us to know either, is how powerful we are and what we're capable of doing. Imagine if we could all co-create something the first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and that's why I think my morning meditations are the most important. And sometimes if I make the special time in the evening, sometimes I don't always get around to it. But if I do, I tend to have a lot better things happen in my sleeping hours too, in my dream states and everything. So it's really about prioritizing. And then I also feel that where the measure of your love lies, like how unconditionally you can love others and love, you know, think of all life as sacred. I believe that measure is also the measure of your abilities that you can manifest things, because it has to come from the right place. So if I wake up and say, oh, I'm going to manifest a winning lottery ticket today, what are my intentions with that, you know? So you have to be careful about what intention you manifest from. Because if I'm not coming from a loving space when I say that, then chances are I'm not going to manifest that, because it has to match that same frequency.
Well, I mean, it kind of gets back to what does your higher self, or if you want to look at it as your subconscious, you know, we stick stuff in our subconscious and programming, all that, the programming that God as a child and all that. And so like on the manifestation thing, your ego might say, I'm gonna win the lotto.
Right.
I'll do all sorts of good things, I promise. But your higher self knows, oh no, dude, you get that money, you're gonna spend it on drugs, sex, and rock and roll. You ain't getting it.
Yeah, but just I think that coming from a true heart space is really the key to how things manifest and how quickly and what we manifest. You know, I think it can work the opposite way. And I think the more we get into this new age of the golden race of people, we'll be seeing that happen more and more. You know, people are going to manifest either their worst nightmares or, you know, the golden age in their life where they're in 5D and they're in harmony and they're balanced and they're in their heart space and they're in unconditional love. But I think it's going to go, you know, the gap between the two will begin to widen. Like there's not going to be that gray area. So, and like Gregg said earlier, that's why this purification process is so imperative right now, because the closer we come to that fullness of that age, I think the more important it's going to be to be in that space of purity and right intention and love. And so, in other words, the greater the measure of that, the greater you'll have those abilities and you'll be trusted with that power. You know, you'll be able to unlock that power in yourself, but it has to be done in the right manner and intention.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, I perfectly understand. I mean, you're not the only person.
Don't you think also that if your mind is not in the right, whatever that is, in the right space, you still manifest whatever that is.
Definitely. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Universe says your wish is my command. If I'm thinking negative thoughts, universe says here's plenty of them. If that's what you want,
right,
what you get.
Right. So
create your own darkness.
If you don't get into the right space within your heart before you try to manifest something, you are screwed.
A friend of mine does something that I just want to share with you guys. I've mentioned it before, but a lot of people are just tuning in for the first time. When she meditates, while she's meditating, what she envisions is that she's hugging the planet itself. What a beautiful thought that is, to hug the Mother Earth, to give Mother Earth a hug and to send that love to her and feel the love coming back to you.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we should be grateful to the planet and the elementals and all of that. Every creature on the planet.
Yeah.
We need to be grateful to ourselves and everyone that reflects back to us our goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And to eliminate the word shame or victim from our minds.
Right. Oh, definitely on the victim part there, because as a victim, what can you fix? Nothing. You have to take control of it, sovereignty over it, in order to be able to fix it. You can't or heal it or anything like that. You need to get out of that victim mentality. It's a poison. Truly.
Well, as we're seeing,
Like that. I mean, if people didn't act like victims, then those narcissists wouldn't have anybody to pick on.
Right. But as we're seeing, a lot of this stuff anyway is getting mirrored right back at us. So, you know, a lot of whatever it is that we need to work on, we're having these opportunities by the minute. Everything's getting mirrored back. So, you know, pay attention to what's going on. It's only going to help facilitate whatever it is that we need to work on. We all need to work on something. None of us are skating through this without additional work that has to be done. And if you are, well, good for you. But I find that hard to believe because I think all this still has stuff that we have to work on. You know, for myself, you know, definitely, you know, I got over a bunch of addictions, you know, the cigarettes, eating shitty food, you know, but I still have that urge for shitty food. Yeah, I'd like to have some fried chicken now and then. Pizza, sure. Stuff along that lines. It's hard to beat any of our addictions, but we're all going through it. We'll make it through it.
The
Okay.
space that I'm in right now, that I'm dealing with, is that the shadows that are coming up, I'm finding have been in my unconscious. And I wasn't even aware that they were there. But they're presenting themselves in a way that's almost like a story to me.
Do you find that they're coming out through your dreams at all, or how are they coming out for you, Jackie?
They're playing out in a way of, like, I'll be sitting, just scrolling or going online or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like my television comes on. Not literally, but it's like my television comes on and it'll play out a scene that I don't consciously remember. But as the story progresses, I see where I was in that, where my part was in that. And it's in the daylight hours. My dream state anymore is completely unconscious. I don't remember anything anymore. I used to remember every little detail in my dreams. Not anymore.
That's interesting, because I'm having a very strange dream situation going on in my life where it's almost as if I'm locked into the dream world. I can have a dream, wake up, go to the bathroom, come back, and pick up on that dream almost every night now. It's so bizarre that I just can't. When I go back to sleep, I'm re-entering the dream wherever I left it off.
Oh, I used to do that, and it was like every night was a chapter in a book of the same dream. And it would continue like that until the whole thing had played out. But what I'm talking about with this stuff that is in the unconscious, it's like stuff that happened before the age of 3 years old, that why I developed certain ideas or beliefs about something about myself and where that came from. And I'm seeing it played out in an awakened state.
It's interesting. I mean, what kind of beliefs do we have at the age of 2, 3 years old of ourselves?
Well, we would have things like, one of the ones I dealt with today was a self-worth thing, why I felt like I wasn't good enough. And it brought back a scene where my mother was going to commit suicide using rat poisoning, and she was saying she was going to kill herself and my baby brother. And I looked at her, and I remember thinking, after I saw it play out on my TV, I remembered her thinking, why am I not, you not taking me? Am I not good enough? Now that is screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you end up dealing with that?
Well, I forgave her. I forgave myself for my innocence. I all the time when I was growing up, until I was 19 years old, I thought I was in a dream. And when they walked on the moon, July 20th, which is my birthday, in 1969, I thought, no, it hasn't been a dream. It's been real. So the whole time that I was growing up, I always thought I was in an illusion and that I would wake up.
It's kind of like a dream in a dream at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're in the age where they say it's all an illusion from time to our society and all that. It's all a joke. It's all a game. This is
Hey,
Bill Hick.
Jessica. Hang on, let's unmute you. Are you unmuted? There you go. Hey,
I'm
thanks for,
unmuted. Hi.
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
I've watched your Zoom chats a few times. And I asked a couple questions in the other video. I have a YouTube channel called Frequency Revolution.
Okay.
So
That's right.
I wanted to pop on because I have some interesting experiences to talk about.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Hold on. Let me mute my children so I can talk. Children, I'm going to be on a Zoom chat, so can you please be quiet?
Do you have like
Yes.
a remote control to mute children with?
I do. Okay, so I just joined the spiritual community at the beginning of 2017 due to I started to astral project. I had no idea what I was doing.
Spontaneously.
Yes.
Okay.
Now looking back that I consciously am aware while I'm doing it, I'm having memories come back to me of when I used to do it as a child. And just, I remember, like, I always thought it was ghosts messing with me. I always thought I was just having a flying dream. Like, you never really look at it until, like, it's weird looking back, knowing now what I know, you know? But I've talked to a few people that have kind of experienced what I have, but I'm just trying to get feedback because you guys all seem to be very knowledgeable. My first experience was actually clairaudient, and I could feel him. I could hear him. He was in my living room.
Wait,
said
feel who?
My guide. He said he was a guide. And that was
Did
my
he give you a
first.
name?
He did not give me a name. He actually, okay, this is how it happened. And you tell me how creepy this is. So I was laying on my couch because I snore. So sometimes I fall asleep on my couch so I don't keep my husband up. So I also have, I'm insomniac, so my sleep is really crazy. So I sleep on my couch. It was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I went through the vibrational state for a couple of weeks and I didn't know what was going on with me at that point. My body was literally vibrating from toe to head back down. I thought I was having seizures. I started looking up seizures at night while you're sleeping. So it progressed to one day, the vibrations happened. And then I heard like a gong.
Were you doing anything like meditating or something that led to those vibrations?
I'm thinking now that I might have been meditating just based on my breathing, now that I know a lot more about breathing. And I think I was self-meditating and didn't even know it, because I can slow my breathing down when I sleep because of my sinus issues with snoring. When I lay in bed with my husband, sometimes I slow my breathing down so slow so I don't snore. So I think I put myself into like a transcendental state almost because of the way I breathe, where I've taught myself since my sinus surgery. I know it sounds crazy, but I write in my journal, I overanalyze everything. So I'm like a scientist over here trying to figure out how I'm able to leave my body, okay? Because it's intense. Okay, so to paint a picture for you, I had the vibrations. I heard a gong, like a really loud bell. And I shot out of my body, literally through my roof. It was like, whew. And I was flying around and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like flying through trees and homes, and I knew it wasn't a dream. I know what a dream is. I know what a lucid dream is. This was very real. And then all of a sudden I felt somebody come behind me and grab me. They put their arms behind me. And then I saw myself going back through my roof down into my living room, and he laid me into my body and he goes, he started singing a 90s song. Now this is what tripped me out. He goes, back to life, back to reality. And he goes, Jessica, he goes, I'm a guide. He goes, you need to be careful and watch out for. And then all of a sudden I just snapped. I didn't hear what he said, watch out for. I jumped off my couch and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Here's the secret of the universe. And I'll tell you right.
Right. And I jumped off my couch and I was like, okay. I called my brother. He lives in California, time difference. And I was like, Blair Witch Project. It was dark. I'm like, Adam, something just happened to me. Someone was just talking to me and holding me on my couch. I don't know what happened. And I go, am I losing my mind? And he started laughing at me. He goes, you smoking any drugs? Like, what's going on? I'm like, no, I don't drink. I don't do drugs, nothing. Okay. So I could feel him. He was spooning me. He literally laid me into my body and wrapped his arms around me and was hugging me and spooning me on my couch. And I'm just sitting there like, who is behind me? What is going on? And I could hear him, like he was whispering in my ear, like he was right on my couch with me. I never saw him though. I never saw him because he was behind me.
How long ago was that?
This was in 2017. There are so
Has it
many
happened
more
since then?
Oh my God. All the time.
Can
So
you basically call him and he's there?
No, I see all sorts of different guys. My guide, her name is Sarah. She is Syrian. She told me
okay.
So this is what I want to tell you. I was a normal, this is how I look at it now, but I thought I was a normal person who had 2 kids, married, has a dog, worked a 9-to-5 job. This has changed my whole life. I have crystals, singing bowls. I have like, my life has changed. I have researched history. Like, this has been crazy. I never knew any of this information. Everything that has happened to me, I journal. My journal's in my kitchen. I didn't know what source was. I didn't know what a guide was. I didn't know what astral projection was until I looked up. Everything that has happened to me, I have Googled. It's been very organic and authentic. So this stuff is real. And I'm like, I'm looking for answers, and I know I'm not going to get them, but I'm looking.
Why don't you just ask your guides what you're supposed to do with the information?
So, okay, my one guide. So, okay, the next experience I had that was very profound is she told me that she's Syrian. She was blue. She had a blue head. She was bald.
Is this Sarah or is this a different one?
This is Sarah. This is Sarah.
Okay.
She's my main guide. She shapeshifts into a feline being. I had to look that up, and I'm going to tell you, when I looked up Syrian, I was like, oh my God, they're blue. Oh my God. I'm like, this is real. I'm not dreaming this. And then the next time I saw her, she changed into a cat, a huge cat. And I was on her back. She took me to go meet this council. I don't know who they were. There was like 24 of them. She brought me to this council, and when they realized I was conscious, Jessica, here, boom, they zapped me back to my body. They like looked at me. It was like everybody at the table. There was 9 of them sitting at a table. She flew me into a mountain. Okay. She told me we were going to the Philadelphia mountains. I've Googled maps, Philadelphia mountains, and it is where we went. Like in Washington State, there's a Philadelphia mountain, and the side of the mountain opened and we went into the mountain. Astral projecting. This is the crazy thing. So she changed into a feline, and I was flying on her, and there was 9 people at a table, all in like Star Trek looking outfits. I remember the colors. It was blue, purple, like a maroon color, a purple, blue, and it was like a button down shirt. And then there was 15 people standing at attention, like with their hands behind their back, like military style. So I remember I counted, there's 24 people. And they were talking to me and showing me like information, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, what are we doing? Like, I'm so excited every experience I have.
What information were they showing you?
I couldn't focus in on what they were showing me, but they were like giving me, I felt like it was a debriefing almost. Like they were like telling me I was supposed to give them information, and they were giving me information. And then all of a sudden I said something, and it was like all their heads turned and they looked at me, every single person. And I was like, oh shit. And the guy
was everybody there? Was everybody there blue and feline?
No, they all looked like different people. She was the only one that looked alien to me.
Okay.
Everybody else looked like you and I.
Okay.
And then he looked at me when they all looked at me when I said something, and he goes, how long have you known we've been watching you? And I was like, since 2017. Like, and then it was like that. And he just like looked at the person next to him. And then all I remember is being back in my body. Like,
Did
it
you
was
notice
like,
at any point that there was like a silver cord attached to you?
I have never once seen a silver cord, and I think that's BS. I know, because so here's one of my first astral experiences after my research stage started. I was laying on my couch and I watched my hand come out, like my spirit hand come out of my physical hand. But I got excited and then I went back to my body, because I feel like when you think about your body, you automatically get pulled back. But it was like a bluish white gold glow. Like my hand, like I felt like I was like a lighted being. Like I was lit up. It was crazy. I really don't focus on my body a lot when I'm doing it. I focus on the other people around me more so.
So in all of these communications that you've had, have they mentioned anything about what is happening with
Well,
humanity, where humanity is heading?
well, I had one experience that was very profound. Well, I've had so many. I did meet Source, had to look that one up, had to Google what Source was, found out that that's God. Didn't know that. That this
Creator,
being,
well,
this
yeah.
thing, creator, right? This being said that it was Source, and I was very confused. But my guide Sarah brought me to an area where I saw my best friend. I saw a couple people I knew, but I'm not really friends with, and then a lot of people I didn't know. And I want to say it was like a ship, but it wasn't a ship. It was like a big auditorium where it was like a school environment. People were sitting and being taught certain things. I don't know what they were being taught. And then there was like a meeting area in the center, which looked to me like a bar, and people were standing at this bar just socializing. And then my guide was like, come with me. And we walked into this room, and then all of a sudden it opened up into the universe. And I was standing in the middle. I just looked around me. It was like a globe, and it was all the stars and solar systems and everything. And she walked me down these steps, and there was a circle I could see, and there was this person standing in the middle. And it was changing from a child to a woman to a man to an old lady. And they just kept shape shifting. And I looked at him, and she goes, Source wants to see you. And I walked up and I looked at Source and I said, why are you changing? And I say she because the first I saw was an old lady. It said, because I don't have a physical presence, I take on different, I can't remember the words. I wrote it down in my journal, but it said, I take on different people or something I incarnated, beings I've incarnated, so you can better understand.
I
Like,
believe
it was
that.
sitting there trying to explain to me, like, I don't have a physical presence.
Neither male or female,
Correct.
basically just an energy, but coming
Yes.
to you in a form that you can understand and see,
Yes.
or many forms actually.
And then I looked at Source and I said, who am I? Where am I from? Because that's the first questions that popped to my head, because I was like looking at this amazing being and wanting to know the answers of life. And of course, the first thing that I said, who am I? Where am I from? And Source said, you are Syrian. You are from Sirius. And I said, okay. And I said, what do I need to do? What do you want from me? And Source just said, protect your son. I need to protect my son, which is weird because I have 2 children. Didn't really specify which one. And that it was real brief. Like,
you have 2 sons.
I have 2 sons, and it said to protect my son.
Well, isn't that interesting? A lot of people believe that this is a binary solar system, and there are 2 suns. Interesting. Anyway, it's making me wonder why they would show you all the, the planets and this. If it has any kind of, relation from one to the other. Anyway, continue.
So that was when I met Source. And like I said, immediately when I came to my physical body, I'm shaking, by the way, I'm so nervous. So I came back to my physical body and I Googled Source, and that's when I found that out. So like I said, every situation that has happened to me, I have to search it because I'm not knowledgeable in this kind of stuff. Okay, so at that point, I found out I'm Syrian. I met Source. My guide is a feline shape-shifting, whatever. I have a very good connection though with my guide. I've had some rough nights where she's come and she literally, I can feel her climb on top of me in bed and she purrs in my ear. Like I've had a couple nights where I've been really upset through this whole spiritual awakening. This has been ugly. This has been ugly for me. Like I have literally, my ego is out the door. Like there's been so many things that have happened in the past 2 years since all this, through my research and just really realizing that we are more than what we know. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't awake before. Now I'm very conscious. I look at everything differently, from all my experiences. So I've gone through a serious spiritual depression of some sort. I'm just pulling myself out of it recently. But she comes and she comforts me and she lays like I said, she purrs in my ear, which is cute. But I've met a lot of beings. I've met green beings with 3 fingers. I've been pulled into the middle of the earth. I had to look that up. I didn't know what was going on down there, but it was pretty scary. That was interesting. I saw people living in like the land, like the earth. Like you go down and it was like a river flowing and like their homes were like ceiling to floor, like rock, and they were living inside of it. I don't know. I've had so many experiences. But what am I getting at here?
Does this happen every night?
Not every night.
So you actually get a decent night's sleep. Well,
I
limited
didn't.
amount of sleep for what?
When I had my awakening at the beginning of 2017, for about 6 months, I didn't sleep, and I was literally fighting it off. Like when I felt the vibrations come on, I was like, no, because I just wanted to sleep. I wasn't sleeping at all. It was like instantly when I laid down, it was like, all right, they would pull me out by my feet out of my bed. I've had lighted beings. I've seen lighted beings. That's why I think like I thought I was a lighted being, but apparently I'm Syrian. But lighted beings have pulled me out by my feet before and just dragged me somewhere. Okay. Oh, the one experience you wanted to know about our Earth. I had an experience where there were flying guides that looked almost like Roman warriors. They were wearing like the helmets with the little feather, like the wings on the side.
Mercury. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were wearing like the sandals, like the gold sandals and like the chest plates. Like to me, they looked like Roman warriors, but they were flying people everywhere.
Hermes,
like it,
Mercury. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an international highway of people flying in the sky, and every one of them had a human being in front of them, and they were carrying them. And I'm flying around, looking around, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, and where we were at was beautiful. It was crystalline. It was in the sky. To me, what I would think heaven would look like. All the buildings were like glass. Oh, you're going to pull up a picture. I actually have pictures I found before.
Okay. Continue though.
Okay,
Please.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I get distracted. So they were like glass buildings, crystalline almost, like I said, and there was like escalators in the sky going to each of these buildings and walkways in the sky. And they dropped me off in this area, and all these people ran up and started hugging me, and I knew them. And I didn't know how I knew them, but I knew them. I just felt the love from them, and they were dressed in normal clothes like you and I. And it was like we were being siphoned into.
They were wearing tie-dye t-shirts?
Absolutely. I think somebody did have a tie-dye shirt on. But it felt like, honestly, it felt like everybody was kind of in their pajamas. I know that sounds crazy, but everybody looked like they were in their pajamas.
Okay.
So like probably about 10 or 15 people came up to me. They hugged me. We were in like a little powwow area, but mind you, there was hundreds of people around us, pretty much walking into this area. I don't know where we were walking. I can't remember. But we all were talking, and I just remember all of us started crying. And I'm going to tell you, I have never felt such an emotion in my life. Like, it was the saddest cry I've ever had in my life. And we were saying how fearful we are for our children's future. That's what we were all saying. And then at the end, we all were telling each other, if we see each other again, to make sure to wake each other up. Like, we're unconscious to it, but we need to wake each other up when we see each other again. Like, come up and wake us up, shake us, so we can be there and be present. So I thought that was interesting. Like, I see them when
How would that help humanity, just by waking each other up?
I don't know. All I know is they were saying we need to remember to wake each other up.
You said these people that were kind of like Hermes or Mercury, they're flying through and they're carrying people, right?
Yes.
Each one was carrying. Were those the people that you were with when you were with that group? And was somebody carrying you yourself, or did you fly
Somebody
there?
was carrying me myself.
Oh, okay. But they
And
weren't
and I didn't get a good vibe from them, though. Those Roman type people that were carrying us around.
So
I
do you
felt
think this
almost
might
like
be an
we were
alternate
being
timeline, perhaps, of, you know, where humanity might not make it?
No, I don't know. I've been to alternate timelines. I now document them, and there's been some crazy ones. I've been to one where asteroids or meteors or bombs were coming down, and it was very specific because I was in a car and I was with some of my friends I knew and some I didn't, and I was trying to get to my husband at work, and I was going through this like life, like it was real life. I've had freaking alternate timelines where I'm just putting away dishes in my kitchen. Like, it's crazy. But this one was specifically an astral projection that, like I said, everybody was in their pajamas, and I flew there, but I flew there with somebody else. Like, they pulled me out of my body. It was that Roman looking guy. And this was at the very beginning. This was at the beginning of what I'm calling or referring to as my awakening. So I don't know, but all I know is these people I felt like my family. And I mean, it was, like I said, it was a very loving feeling, and it was very sad as well. I mean, I've lost both my parents, and I've never cried that hard in my life.
Yeah, there was that family connection there. So if this was at the beginning of your experiences with this astral projection, it is possible that what you had seen was a timeline that has come and gone, because I see things that haven't happened yet as well. I get visions of what's about to happen. I've never seen anything negative, especially lately. It's been amazing.
I agree with that. Because I see things and know things before they happen, and it's positive for me also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've also seen in my travels, I've also seen that cord. And my daughter, when she was 4 or 5 years old, she would tell me of riding on the horse with wings and going around Tulsa, which is where we live. And to this day, that daughter she never gets lost in Tulsa. But my other daughter gets lost all the time. So she'll take the youngest one with her when she goes places, because the youngest one can find her way to it and back.
Well, I see that she's not with us now. She must have either got kicked off or so. I don't know where she went, but there was a question in the chat room from Emit Flesty, which was asking, did you see the caduceus that Mercury carries? It's a good question. It's an interesting, very interesting story that she had to tell us there. And I believe her and everything she said. It's interesting that she did not see that silver cord that many people do actually see. I wouldn't discount the fact that because she didn't see it, other people don't experience that themselves. I think both happen, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with her. I haven't seen a silver cord anytime I've astrally project. Of course, I've only done it once, really. When I was doing the Metatron's Keys meditation, and I like popped out and was in the galaxy. It was pretty weird.
So it seems like she has the opportunity, though, if nothing else, with this pretty much constant connection to her guides, which is awesome, to basically ask them, especially if it is, what she says it is, they can tell her, okay, well, this is my purpose, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing with this information. So it's really cool. I mean, not a lot of us will feel our guides. I was lucky enough to meet one of mine, and but to have that opportunity to meet them, we all have them, and
Oh yeah.
recommend is just to put it out there to creator, source, universe, whatever, that you want to meet your guide, to have your guides come to you, perhaps in a dream or whatever, and it'll be a magical moment when it happens.
Oh, it'd be a welcome moment anyway. It was for me when it happened.
What is your guide's name or names?
Serafina.
What was that?
Serafina. Yeah, Serafina.
As in seraph, like the angelic kind of. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, she's a guardian angel or
Yeah.
a higher dimensional being. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. We can call her an angel if you want. She's cool with that.
Well, it's interesting because Jessica was saying that her main guide is Sarah. My guide is Tamara. And you have so are we seeing a pattern here? There's the Ra, which is God in there. Tamara, Ra, Sarah, Sa, Ra. And yours was?
Seraphim. Seraphim.
So you have the Ra in there as well.
Serafina is the way it kind of comes.
Right. But there's that Ra that's in there, Ra being God.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. With our spirit guides that come through.
Well, we're all aspects of God. I mean,
sure.
But
you don't really see spirit guides named Fred. Unless it's Fraud. R-A-D.
A Sasquatch was called Fred.
For fraud.
I did contact or have a mental telepathy with a Sasquatch who gave me the name Fred. So there are Freds out there.
Bill, there's somebody on YouTube, Claudette, that's saying, I've heard the Serafina name too. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, no, actually, I came across somebody was channeling or something, and they talked about a dwarf named Serafina. I thought, whoa, is my angel actually a dwarf of the fairy realm or what? I could see that, but
right.
Yeah. So there is that isn't, once you told me that name, then it started popping up. And you're right, it kind of sounds like seraphim or the wing, all wings, the 4 wings angels. She's saying no, that she doesn't have 4 wings.
So everybody is unmuted here in Zoom. I just posted another link in YouTube land. So if anyone wants to jump in, you're more than welcome to. What's on your mind? Just say hello. We have some new people here, Alexis and Leia, Dawn and Turner. Well, that's interesting. Jessica just said in YouTube that Zoom deleted itself off of her phone and she's re-downloading it now. Okay.
Whoa.
Wow. Maybe that information wasn't supposed to come out. I don't know. Or maybe
Well, yeah, I
those
mean,
in power don't want that to come out.
yeah, I mean, they don't want. Of course, I guess they knocked me off here for about what I'm going to say here. So they really don't want us to know that we can contact our spirit guides, or that this astral projection is actually something anybody can do. That they don't want us to realize how powerful that we actually are. That's what it boils down to. They don't like that information out there, because that was information that they were only privy to for a while. So, but now everybody knows. The gig is up, guys. You might as well give up and let us all in.
Well, ultimately, they just want to keep us distracted and, sleep, obey, conform, obey, consume, do not question authority.
Right. They want us in fear. I mean,
Yeah.
This is what this coronavirus is all about. Fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't buy into it.
No. And that's why, it's good that we have places like this to meet where, it's not just a 20-minute video. I just had a compliment actually from this woman that said that she got rid of her TV a while ago. All she does is she watches like YouTube videos. She was really grateful that a lot of our videos go like 3-4 hours long, because she'd much rather watch something like this, educational and interesting, than to watch anything on TV. And I can't blame her. So I actually have a playlist here on the N5D channel where you can just put it on and fall asleep to these kind of videos. Or we have so many hours. I've got over like 400 videos on N5D. I've got like, you could pretty much watch N5D for months. Welcome back, Jessica.
Thanks for having me back. Isn't that funny? The app literally got deleted off my phone.
What's the odds of that?
This is not the first time it happened. There's another girl that has a YouTube channel called Fleur Brun. And yeah, I jumped on her Instagram. We got kicked off 3 times. It deleted Instagram off my phone. And we were kind of talking about the same thing. Every time I talk about it, the app gets deleted off my phone, whatever I'm on. If it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand it. Like, it drives me bonkers. And I'm trying to create my own YouTube channel too. I put up one video because what I'm getting at is when I said source said my son, my one son, he's 19. He's in high school. He's a senior. I held him back a year because he's very sweet, very innocent, and has some learning disabilities, but he's starting to have experiences, and he's been telling me about it.
Astral projection experiences or something?
He is, I didn't tell you about a few of my beginning experiences, but I had shadow beings coming and messing with me. I call them like Dementors because that's all I can attribute it to. They look like Harry Potter Dementors. They were scary as hell. So he has them now coming and torturing him. So I did a YouTube video on it talking about his experience. I live interviewed him, and I talked about my experience with them.
Where are your guides when these?
This was at the beginning of my awakening. This was before my guides came.
But surely
I haven't given you my whole story. It's way more in depth, like through the vibrational stage. When I said I had it for about 2 weeks where I was vibrating and everything, I had one experience. I was sitting on my couch, literally must have zoned out into meditation. It put me in sleep paralysis. I knew for 2 years I had sleep paralysis because I would wake up in bed and not be able to move. And I could see everything around me. I could hear everything. And I always had these shadow looking things. Like I said, when I was younger, I thought they were ghosts. I didn't know. This was prior to knowing I was astral projection and leaving my body. One profound experience before my guides started coming, it was very aggressive. I was on my couch watching Jimmy Kimmel. I remember distinctly, I was watching it and all of a sudden I zoned it out and I was in sleep paralysis and I couldn't move and I was sitting up on my couch, not laying down, sitting up in the corner of my living room. This creepy thing upside down was crawling on my ceiling. He looked like black mist, but I can make out his arms and his head and everything. He was wispy. He crawled, went over the top of my head, and he was like sucking energy out of the top of my head where I could feel him pulling it out, or it, I don't know what it was. And then there was two other ones in the corner that had red eyes. That one over my head did not have red beady eyes, but the other two, they almost looked like gargoyles propped up in the corner of my living room, and they were staring at him while he was doing this on top of me. And I was trying to get out of it. And, you know, when you get in sleep paralysis, you're like, oh my God, just move that one hand, that one finger. You're like, get me out of this, because you're fully conscious and aware, but you're paralyzed. You can't move.
I don't think it was any coincidence either that you just happened to be listening to Jimmy Kimmel, which is crap on there, you know, and they're putting out, you know, in the meanwhile, your TV's putting out these, you know, negative ELF waves, and you know, it's a combination of everything.
Yeah. Well, so that happened to me. And then it was like right after that is when I met the guide, and he was like, watch out for, but I was so freaked out because that was the first experience of hearing a guide clairaudient and feeling him physically, that scared me, that I didn't get to finish that conversation. I still haven't seen him to this day. I've seen plenty of other ones, but not him. And I think he might have just been out there in like the etheric lower plane, because when I started out astral traveling, I was doing it like in my neighborhood through houses, and I've gone in people's homes and seen them walking around. Like, are you kidding me? I did have one experience where I was stopped. I was astral projecting, and this this being that I could see through, but I could see it was there. It was like it was vibrating so fast, but I could see an outline, almost like, you know, the Predator, when it goes into that like transparent state, you know, the movie Predator, right?
Right.
Okay. How it goes in where it can make itself like transparent, but you can see the outline of it. He knows what I'm talking about. Phil knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You've never seen Predator versus Alien or any of those crazy old movies?
I don't watch horror crap.
Okay. Well, I'm a movie buff. I've always been. So that's how I attribute things. So sorry if I use analogies like Harry Potter, Dementors. That's the only way I can like compare and contrast things. But it looked like transparent, but I knew it was there. And I was flying and it stopped me and it zapped me. And I was like, what? Like, why are you stopping me? So I went forward again, like I wanted to fly somewhere, and then it stopped me again. And then I backed up and I'm like, what is this thing? And why can't I fly? I want to go over there. You know, like you want to fly around. You're having fun when you're astral projecting. And then it zapped me a third time and I went back to my body. And when it zapped me, it was in my lower spine, where people say the cord is, but I've never seen the cord. But that's where it zapped me. And I had this jolt that hurt. It hurt. It physically hurt me. And that's the same situation my son had, where he said it felt like an electric shock to his lower spine and it radiated through his whole body when he saw the shadow beings. So there's lower beings in the etheric realm, like this area of Earth, that are out there. I don't know if they're stopping us from going to certain areas or what they're doing. But I actually have an astral projection group if anybody would like to join who astral projects. It's on Facebook. There's about 1,200 of us. It's called Phase Evolution, and we talk about all our experiences. Another YouTuber started it. He has a YouTube page, Phase Evolution, but unfortunately, he's not active anymore. He made me the admin of the page and bowed out gracefully. But a lot of people have talked about having those electric jolts and shocks when they leave their body, which brings them back to their body.
What's the name of that page?
It's called Phase Evolution. PHASE Evolution.
So is anyone talking on that about going into the future and seeing the event or things along that line?
We have one guy I made an admin of the group that is very active, and he posts every day about every experience he has. He does have experiences around that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you
Well,
join the
without
group,
having on-
his name is, I think it's like Tahir or Tahi, Tahir. He's an admin in the group. If you just look under the admins, you'll see
Okay.
him, and you'll see all his posts in the group. I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. There's a couple other profound ones. So that was the shadow beings. Who else has messed with me? I have so many people or beings or entities mess with me.
How can you be sure after being messed with so many times that the people that say that they're your guides are who they say they are?
You know, I really don't know. I want to trust because I'm a very trusting person, but I also try to use discernment. Here's my oldest right here. Johnny, you want to say hi? I'm talking about your shadow being experience I did on YouTube. He's walking out.
Who are your friends?
These are people on a Zoom chat.
Zoom chat? What is that?
We're talking about spiritual experiences and out of body. So this is my oldest. He's a redhead. He has had experiences with shadow beings and out of body. He actually had, he thinks what was an alien experience, that like an ET craft outside of his window.
Like it was yesterday.
You remember that? Do you want to tell them the story?
Sure. So I knew it was different from any nightmare. So
This was the one when the light shined in the.
yeah, it's
Okay.
imagine like a sunny day looking at the sun. Imagine seeing a brighter orb than that, a very bright orange orb of light shining through the side of the window and through the curtains, and
Where he was blinded by the light, he couldn't see.
and I woke up, the house was shaking. Felt like it was shaking, but probably even wasn't. I don't even know, but I running down the hallway as I'm, so there's the hallway like this, and on the left side there's my brother's door. I see the orange light shining through it like the brightest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm stumbling, trying to get out of it because I don't know what's going on. I never experienced anything like this. It's way more than a nightmare I've ever had. I knew that because.
Well, you were awake and you were running.
Oh, yeah.
He was running with his blanket, like a little kid with his blankie, his whole comforter, and he's screaming, "Mom, Mom!" and running down the steps. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I jump out of bed, paranoid, like somebody's in my house. And he goes, "Mom, Mom, the light, it's shining through all of upstairs. It's bright. The whole house is shaking." Like he was freaking out. That was his first experience. And he heard it was a vacuum sound. He said it was like a buzzing, but it wasn't a buzzing. It was a steady, like that type of noise. That was the start of this guy having experiences. And that's why I'm freaked out, because like I told you, Source said to protect your son. I don't know what's going on with this guy right here, but something's going on with him. I don't know if somebody's after him, something's after him, or like, and this is just a crazy mom talking, like, is he like the next Jesus or something? Like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm joking about it, but it was very serious when it happened. He was terrified.
Okay. Om Tara Tum Soha. Om Tara Tum Soha. This is a good
Once I
protection.
realized that
Use it.
wasn't a dream, I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go upstairs.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, bye.
But he's very open about it, because the one thing I've learned through all of this, I talked to him and my other son about their dreams, their experiences, because I want them to feel that they can talk to me about everything. And I don't ever want them to be scared, because let's be honest, that stuff is scary. And I've experienced it, and it scared the crap out of me. So I want them to be able to talk to me. And as a mother, you want to protect your children, even though unfortunately in that type of environment, in that realm or whatever, I can't protect them, but I try. So that happened. So, and we've had see this all, like, I feel like you guys understand me and get me, but we've also had, him and I were outside one day and we had a low flying craft of some sort fly over our house like a week after that. And we got it on video, but you deleted that video off your phone, didn't you?
Yeah. I didn't have enough storage.
He didn't have enough storage on his phone. So as a teenager, he deleted it off his phone, but we got it on video. It flew really low over our house. It was not an airplane. We know what airplanes are. What?
Lake.
And then what did we saw? We saw it flew really low over our house, and then it zipped and disappeared. And there was like a line, almost like you would see a shooting star. It was like the one in the front of the house. It was like a line, like you would see out of Star Trek. Like it just hyper sped and like disappeared. And we saw it, him and I, and we're standing in the front yard screaming for my husband in the house, like, "Billy, come outside! We just saw this. Come look!" I mean, it was real.
Yeah,
You are my witness, Johnny. You are the only one that has witnessed the crazy stuff that we have witnessed.
And what about the thing we saw at the lake? What's that? Hovering. Orb.
And then him and I went through a crazy stage where we were going outside with binoculars, my video camera and telescope, and we did see a flying orb that flew right in front of us.
And we knew it wasn't a helicopter or anything because there was no sound.
There was no sound. It made no sound at all, and it was like a light. It was just a ball of light, and it flew right in front of us.
It's on shine on the water facing directly.
And it had a reflection on the water that looked like the moon. It was that bright. We did get that on video.
On YouTube chat, T Light is saying, "Have you thought to seek a spiritual coach to help you identify this and what's going on?"
So there's Ryan Cropper, who has a Facebook page. He is a spiritual coach, I would say. Him and I are good friends. I'm friends with his wife now. I've become so in tune with all these big YouTubers and coaches and stuff that they've made me admins of their pages. Like, nobody has an answer for me. I don't have an answer for any of this. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think it's important, like you said, to use your discernment. I have a friend that was channeling this being Mother Mary, and Mother Mary was giving her this, telling her what is about to happen in her life. And she was telling me this whole time, and it was fascinating because all this stuff that hadn't happened did happen. Eventually, Mother Mary said, "Kill yourself." So just be really, really, really
well
careful.
I can tell you that is one thing that I've thought about, the fear factor behind it, and I would never do that. And I know that, like, I'm not, and that's the thing, like, so I've talked to, so my mother is deceased and my father's deceased. My mother came to see me. I've seen my father. I've seen plenty of deceased people. So that's the other part of this puzzle. My mother came to me and I could feel her hair on my cheek, the warmth of her breath. I heard her voice, and I hadn't heard her voice in 7-8 years. And she hugged me and she said, "Don't worry, Jessica, we will see each other again." That's what she said to me. So I called my mom's best friend, my Aunt Meg, and she's a Reiki master. She's also a hippie. So she's very spiritual. So she was the one person I could think of calling. In my life, I was like, she's non-judgmental, she's spiritual, she uses crystals. Like, I immediately thought of her, and I reached out to her, and she knew everything and was receptive of what I was saying. And she goes, "You know, you're very level-headed for what you're going through right now." All these experiences, some people would probably lose their shit. And she goes, "The fact that you're able to use discernment, judgment, you know, actually analyze what's going on, do a little research." She's like, "I'm really impressed and I'm proud of you." So the fact that I have my mom's best friend, who I look as a nurturing mother, to tell me that it's okay, just keep doing what you're doing. That's just what I've been doing. Nobody has answers for it. None of us do. We don't know we don't know what happens after we die. We don't know where we go. We all have an idea, but I just feel like, what's happening to me is a little crazy, and I'm just looking for more crazy people out there that have had the same thing happen to them. So we can all talk about all our experiences. So I've watched a few of your Zoom chats. I've heard people talk about astral projection out of body. So I figured I'd join in and give some of my stories and see if anybody had any stories similar or wanted to share. Or
well, it's kind of off topic on tonight's.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to go 2.5 hours and they're still alive.
Oh, wow. Well, see, I just got finished doing dinner with my children, so I missed the first part of the live, so I apologize. I just knew the other day I was watching, and I'm like, I need to get on and just talk. So I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We actually, what I do is I have what's called spirit chats all throughout, several times a week.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's like an open forum about everything and anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's probably the more
The
appropriate.
best one to come on and talk about this stuff. So
Yeah.
sorry guys, a little off topic
that's
tonight.
I'm not so
No, it's,
sure
it's
that it is
super
really.
fascinating. I appreciate you joining us and sharing your experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
2
really
years of investigation and what?
None of his accusers of committing suicide.
I feel like everybody's talking at the same time. What were you saying, Phil?
He's woke.
I'm saying this was on topic because this is part of what the Age of Aquarius is all about. It's both being level-headed, but also connected to spirit.
Yes.
It's the epitome of Aquarius.
I can tell you, as somebody who feels like they were asleep their whole life, there is a change happening. And at the start of my awakening, for some reason, I just wanted to stop eating meat. I became a vegetarian. And I look back now and can't believe I ate meat my whole life. And I'm an advocate for that. And I speak up. I know there's like a saying, like, how do you know someone's a vegan? They'll tell you. You know, I don't care. I'm going to keep speaking out about that. I feel that all of my friends and family, and I'm very honest with them. I tell them all my crazy stuff because I'm very transparent. There's no bullshit behind me. I don't make up stories. I tell them all so they all know and they believe me. So I feel like they're all starting to wake up and be more conscious of our earth and our planet and everything that's going on. So I'm noticing a big shift in my area, in my immediate circle. So there is something going on. Seriously. It's great. It's great. I'm loving it. Except for the scary stuff, but I haven't had any of that happen in a while. It's been 2 years. I did just recently have an experience that I'm researching right now and I don't have an answer for, though. I had somebody come to me with the name of Azazia, and I never heard that name in my life. And the only thing I can find on Google is it was one of the trumpeters for the Ark of the Covenant, Azazia. It's a very pretty name, but she came to see me in Astral and said her name was Azazia. And I looked at her and I said, and I was like, where are we? And she goes, you ready for this one? Where she said we were? She said we were in Antarctica. So I thought that was interesting. So I've had quite a few recently.
What did she mean by that?
I don't know. But I mean, that's an area that, you know, is less traveled, is what I'm saying. So I thought that was interesting. But she looked at me, what?
What did it look like?
I couldn't see where we were at. I just asked her where we were. Like she was sitting right next to me. We were sitting at a table and we were talking, and she had short black hair. She was very, she was very tan, almost like, I don't know. She was tanner complected. She wasn't an African American, but she wasn't, you know, Caucasian. She had a darker complexion, short black hair. And she said her name was Azazia. And I freaked out because I was like, where am I? Like, where are we? And she's like, we're in Antarctica, duh. Like one of those things, like, don't you know where we are right now? And I'm like, no, I don't know where we're at right now. And then before that, I had another experience in regards to the East, like Middle East to the left. I was told New Earth is going to land there. So I don't know what that means.
Wait, slow down. New Earth is going to land where?
This little girl, she was a little girl. She said, New Earth is going to land in the east to the left.
Where's the east?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
She just said in the east to the left. And then the next day I met Azazia and she said we were in Antarctica. So I don't know. There's some things been going on the past couple weeks that I'm trying to connect dots right now. Some interesting things going on in the spirit world. So I just thought if anybody's had anything crazy around that lines, but my guess would be like Middle East, you know, like what's over there? Iran, Iraq, Egypt, all those area of the East.
East of Antarctica could be Australia, or
The Far East.
I mean,
She didn't specify. She just said in the east. Yeah, I know. It's really kind of vague, right? So just food for thought. If I have any more experiences, I'll fill you guys in on another Zoom chat without interrupting the topic at hand. But that's the only like New Earth experience I've had where they've actually said New Earth. So, and I know Dolores Cannon's, because I've been reading a lot of her stuff, or I read it last year. She talked a lot about New Earth, and that was the first time somebody said New Earth to me.
Yeah, I love Dolores. Definitely.
Yeah, she was awesome. I wish I could have met her. I'm so sad about that. You know, you start reading books, and then I found out she passed in 2014, I think it was. Damn it.
Something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I interviewed her in 2013.
Did you really? You're lucky. Yeah. She seems like an amazing woman. I do know Justine Alessi, who is friends with her daughter and worked with Dolores. Dolores published her books. Justine actually lives about a half hour away from me, and she's a tarot card reader. So when I had my awakening, I went and saw her, and Dolores published her. And she was telling me all the stories about Dolores, how amazing she was. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the closest I'm ever going to get to Dolores is you, because you were good friends with her. But yeah. Okay.
Actually, the closest would be Candace Craw Goldman, who was just on my show recently.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I'm the right-hand person for Dolores for some of her conferences and stuff. And
yeah,
she had a really tight connection with Dolores.
Did she? Well, for me, it was the closest I was ever going to get, is what I'm saying. Meeting like Justine and getting to talk to her. Because she did a lot of her conferences and stuff too. It was pretty cool. So, okay. That's all I had to say. If anybody wants to ask me any questions or anything, otherwise, I'm going to mute myself and let you guys chat. Because I feel bad now, like I interrupted everybody.
No. I encourage people to come on and to talk anyway, so don't feel bad about any of that. And like Phil was saying, this is about the transformation that's going on, about the age into Aquarius, and that's where I think we're heading, or are in already.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I definitely see it in our children, that's for sure. My 8-year-old is so conscious of everything. Like, he's so smart, and the things he says, I'm just amazed. Like, he hugs trees in my front yard. He names our trees. He's 8 years old and names trees. He's like, this is Billy. Thank you, Billy, for letting me climb in you. Like, they're just so grounded and so in tune with our earth. It's just amazing to me. It's amazing.
Our little indigos and crystal children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've started saying hello to the trees as I go by them. Not here, because I have so many. But if I'm in town or anything, I'll stop and say hi. They need some people to recognize them.
He's very conscious about plastics and recycling and just everything, It's good. It's very good, because our generation wasn't so conscious of it. No. Unfortunately. We are now, though. But I don't know. Does anybody have any pointers, though, for me on anything?
Well, the only pointer I would have is in any kind of a negative circumstance where you've got entities that are coming at you and you don't like the vibe of them, just tell them to go away, and they have to. I mean, if you want, you can call on the name of God or Source and say, hey, Source, get this guy out of here, or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to put up with that stuff. There's different ways you can deal with your shadow. You don't have to have negative things coming in to make you, deal with your shadow. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
Also, smudge as often as you can. Go through. This is what I do. I just say only those of the highest vibration of truth, love, and light are welcome here.
I do
something
it
along that line.
so often.
Okay. Also, just try to keep yourself protected in that bubble of white light. You know, before you enter any kind of astral realm, even maybe if you're falling asleep, put yourself in a bubble of white light of protection.
Yeah. I did recently. Well, not recently. I did use the white light and it does work. I had a Tasmanian devil looking thing on top of me in my bed one day. And I'm serious. It had like the long tongue and it was like, blah, like in my face. It scared the crap out of me. And I was like, oh my God, Jessica, go back to your body, wake up. And I did. And then I could feel myself drifting again into that meditative state. And then you could feel the vibrations. I'm like, shit. And he was still right there when I got into my, you know, astral spirit body. And so
you're getting a lot of attacks. I don't know why.
I had a lot of attacks, like I said, the first year, not recently, but what I did, this was actually the creator of Phase Evolution YouTube and Facebook page. He told me, just grab them, just hug them. He's like, just grab them and just protect yourself and just think positive. And he's like, and they'll disappear. So I did that. I pulled the thing into me and I was like, white light, white light. And I'm like, I kept saying something. I can't remember what I said. And it was like, poof, he just disappeared. It was gone. So that was one experience I did. I used my powers that be. I don't know what they were, but I knew if I just hugged him rather than showing fear, he would go away, and he did. So it does work.
Yeah. Love is powerful. Love is powerful.
Love is very powerful. Yeah. And that's worked for me thus far. So since then, I haven't really been messed with too much. Every once in a while, maybe a little bit, but now it's just guides and different beings and people I don't know visiting me all the time.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like about guides and all that, is that they often won't give you their name.
Sarah, the only one that gave me their name was my one guide, Sarah. And she was the one that brought me to source. So I trust her. She's the only one I trust. All the other ones, I'm not sure. They didn't give me their name or who they are, or what they're about. I mean, and she came back to me so many times. Like, she's come multiple times and she's always consistently there. And like I said, when I was having a really bad day and I was actually crying, it was like she came out of nowhere and just hovered over me like she was protecting me. She was on top of me and she was purring. Like, to me, that's love. So I felt safe. But otherwise, all the other ones, you're right. Like, I don't know. They could be demonic. I don't know.
I know through astral travel, a lot of people have explained. Robert Monroe, I would highly recommend reading his book.
Oh, that is what Phase Evolution is all about. It's Robert Monroe and the Monroe Institute.
But that fourth dimension is full of fuckery on there, and there's a lot of entities that are going to just attack and attack and attack. Really? That's where many people are going when they're astral traveling. You will find some benevolent beings there, but you're going to find a lot of fuckery going on, and just be careful.
Yeah. Do you astral travel?
I tried one time, and I started lifting out of my body, and my phone rang, and it came right back in. And I thought, okay, this is a sign I'm not supposed to. I honestly, I don't want to deal with that crap. I really don't want to deal with it.
I feel like it's a blessing and a curse. It brought me to my awareness of everything, but at the same hand, I've had some scary experiences.
I think those who are supposed to are probably, maybe it's your job, just like what's going on here on Earth, as above, so below, maybe because there's the Great Awakening going on and the draining of the swamp here. Maybe you're part of helping to drain the swamp up there.
Well, after meeting that council, I know I'm doing something, because they seemed really interested in what I had to say. And then when they found out that I was the other Jessica, they're like, oh no, you are not ready for any sort of information. Like, go back to your body. So, like, I feel like I mean, this is the planet of, what do they say? We're of forgetfulness, like we don't remember. I feel like that's true. I feel when I'm in my spirit body and, you know, I'm aware of what's going on, but when I'm not aware, there's a different version of me out there that knows everybody, you know? Yeah, amnesia. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, amnesia was the correct word. So that blew my mind. And then I looked up, like I tried to find like a council of 9, council of 24, or something like that. And they do, the law of 1 talks about, I think a council of 24, right? Do you know anything about the law of 1?
I read that a long time ago. I really don't remember anything about the Council of 24.
There's
Yeah,
like
I'm not
24
remembering anything about 24.
in the law of 1, in one of the transmissions. I remember because I'm on book 1 right now. I'm on an audio book. They were talking about 24. They do talk about 9 too. The Council of 9, I think it is, but there was one of them was discussing 24. I don't know. I'll have to finish it.
About the 9s.
Who does?
Magenta Pixie.
Yeah, Magenta Pixie talks about the Council of 9.
Well, there was 9 of them at the table. They were important. Whoever they were very important. That's the feeling I got from that.
Well, 9 is a number of completion. So like there's a 9 Norns. Yeah, there's a lot of 9s out there that communicate with us.
Well, I can tell you I'm going to Washington in the next month or 2 to go to the Philadelphia mountains. I'm going where they brought me, where that council was at. I decided I'm going to go hike it. As crazy as it is, I'm like, I need to know. So I'll update y'all on that. When
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
looked that up. I live in Washington State.
Really?
Yeah.
It's yeah, look up the Philadelphia mountain, and it's right next to it's not too far from Mount Adams, where everybody talks about that's like the #1 spot for UFO sightings.
Yeah, East Eddy Ranch.
East Eddy Ranch. Yeah, it's not too far
But
from there. I found that out because there's a guy that does a coast to coast radio show. Not oh my God, I can't think of the who.
Jimmy Church.
Not Judge Norrie, but
Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church. Yeah, he went there, and he got a picture of Mount Adams with the mountain open and then the mountain closed. And that's what it looked like to me. The mountain opened and when I went in, and then it closed. So it's just weird to get like all these confirmations after the fact. You know, I was just listening to his show one day, and then I looked at his YouTube page, and he like specifically did an East Eddy show. And to see the mountain open, I'm like, oh my God, that's what it looked like. So I don't know. It's not too far from that. So if you want to look it up, they were very specific where we were. So,
certainly.
But isn't that interesting though? I thought that was kind of funny.
That's near, not too far from Mount Shasta, which is the root chakra of the planet.
Yeah. I would like to go there too.
What you'll notice at the base, when you're at the base of Mount Shasta, you're going to have amazing cell phone service, which means that I've heard that, you know, underneath Mount Shasta, there's a lot of alphabet agency activity going on. And
oh, really?
Obviously, because you get such great cell phone service near there, there's obviously a lot of trees that look like trees that are actually cell phone towers. So, yeah.
Yeah, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. And out of the 11 cities in the United States to get 5G, we were one of the first ones. Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus, 3 cities in Ohio out of the 11 cities nationwide that got it. And they do, they put up like these fake trees and these towers, and they're everywhere. I refuse to get a 5G cell phone though. I'm still over here with my old iPhone, like my iPhone 6. I'm not upgrading. No way. That's so sad though, isn't it? So sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna resist out here if I can. I don't know. If I see one of those fake trees, I'm gonna be cutting that sucker down.
Be nice to
It
have
got
some kind of orgone, one of those chem busters, or just something that you can put around it or near it to help.
I
pyrite.
researched that, and people make those themselves.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, I make an orgone pyramid, so yeah,
that one. I
they'll
did
work.
get one.
And using shugite and crystals in it
Right,
is key too. I would say for messing with the 5G to counteract 5G.
Mine has tiger's eye in it.
Yeah,
That-
I use tiger's eye too.
Yeah. I did get one of these though. Just to be cautious in my house to see, because that stuff scares me now. Like I said, as soon as this awakening happened, and it's like too much information in the head all within 2 years. Like I'm just learning about everything. So I was never a conspiracy theorist before, but man, I talk to people about stuff now and they must think I'm crazy.
Try to focus on the love.
I know, I do.
bring
I
the love in
try.
more than the fear. The fear is going to drag you down and everyone else around you.
So I told you I went through like a spiritual depression for a good year and a half because of that. Because you just want to take in so much information all at once, because it's like you're aware of everything all of a sudden and it's a smack in the face. And then you're just, I didn't work for 2 years from the start until just recently, because all I was doing, thankfully my husband allowed that because he knew what was going on, and I just researched every day. Because that, when something like that happens to you, it's very profound and you want to have answers to everything. So,
Right.
so hence, what?
I said it's called the dark night of the soul. It's
Yeah.
part of the process.
Yeah. It's very real.
Yep.
It's very real. So that's why I have an EMF reader. And orgone pyramids and everything else I have. And I've been reading Edgar Cayce and Eckhart Tolle and a couple other books recently too. So,
Yeah,
do you have any suggestions for reading material?
I'm going to be doing a whole show on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm down for that. I'll be taking notes.
Yeah.
Because I found half price books and it's my new favorite store. So I've stocked up.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right path, with, looking into Dolores Cannon. The Convoluted Universe series is always a good one.
You might want to read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, because he talks about astral projection in that too.
I've researched that a little bit about that. I've got, these are the recent ones, the Future of Human Experience I just got, Visionary Thinkers on the Science of Consciousness, then The Cosmic Womb, The Seeding of Planet Earth. I just got that one. I haven't read any of these, so I have no idea what they're about. And then The 7 Central Practices to Awaken Heart and Mind, Essential Spirituality. And then I got the big Edgar Cayce Modern Prophet, 4 complete books. I'm only halfway through that sucker. It's like 600 pages.
Well, a book that just about everyone is familiar with in this genre is The 4 Agreements. Recommend that.
What is it? I got to write it down.
The 4 Agreements.
The 4 Agreements?
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a show on that book.
4 Agreements.
Yeah.
Okay. I am definitely going to get that. 4 Agreements.
One of the messages that I keep getting from my guides over and over and over again is to, number one, love. Number two, to express gratitude as much as possible. To remember, I do what I call a walk of gratitude on the beach. Another one is to forgive. That's what Dolores Cannon said is the quickest way to overcome karma is to forgive. Number four is to maintain high vibration, because right now, if your vibratory level of your cells drops at all, you're going to leave yourself a target for, especially if you're traveling in this fourth dimension, you're going to be a huge target. And number five is to ground, stay grounded as much as possible. So
It's very good advice.
mm-hmm.
I try to stay grounded. I used to never wear shoes up until a couple of years ago, so I went back to the whole barefoot thing again. Going outside and just getting your feet in the ground.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. This is another one I'm kind of excited to read. The Neuropsychology of Enlightenment. Talks about how the Maharishi transcendental meditation and the programs transform the functioning of the human body. So it's like actually scientific studies behind it. Looks like a really cool book. So I've become a nerd. That's all I do now is read. Well, I've enjoyed the chat. I'm going to get off here because I have children that are probably summoning me upstairs. My 8-year-old, I kind of shunned away.
Feel free to join in anytime.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you all being so receptive and understanding to my rant, my venting session. I appreciate it. It was much needed. So, but if anybody ever wants to message me, I do have a YouTube page. I only have like 200 followers, but I'm trying to get the courage up to make some content about all my experiences, but it is Frequency Revolution. I do comment sometimes on your shows. So if anybody wants to follow me and message me on there, that would be great. The more, the merrier. I'm all about making friends. So. Okay, bye. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All righty.
Bye, everyone.
So, Sarah, you're in the chat room, but you're not speaking anything here. You want to join in? I saw you making comments down there in the chat. You're welcome to join us. One of the books I see here on YouTube is The Celestine Prophecy.
Oh yeah, great book. Great book.
It's actually a movie too. Yeah.
Oh, did they make a movie about it? Oh wow.
I believe so. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
I don't know where people find time to read books anymore. Gosh.
Well, I only do Audible books now.
Right?
Because for me to read, I got to blow the screen way big. So that puts the lines out beyond where I can see them. I'll go down one line, come back down and go over here. And I can't remember. I'll end up reading the same line. Well, it doesn't take too long to frustrate me like mad doing that.
You know, I've got so much that I'm always working on too. It seems like an audiobook would be the best way. That way I can still multitask and absorb what I'm getting from the book while doing other things.
Well, audio isn't my best learning method, I'm just going to say. So I have to actually pay attention to it in order for it to pick up the information.
See, something like that would be ideal though at night if you're, you know, going, just laying down and relaxing. It's almost like a bedtime story. You just pick it up the following night wherever you fell asleep.
Right. Yeah. Except I don't like to have the cell phone next to me when I'm sleeping.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I usually leave it out here in the living room and I go into my bedroom. I don't have any electronics in my bedroom.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. What I end up doing is I'll download videos. I have a program called Ummy, and I'll download the videos and play them in my bedroom and disconnect from the internet in there. So yeah, that seems to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a laptop or anything like that to do that.
Mhm.
And because of all the video, make my videos with my iPhone, and that kind of is eating up most of my storage. So now I have to go back and delete videos off of my iPhone. So I have them on my computer, so I guess that's okay. And on YouTube.
Yep.
Oh, and I wanted to talk about that. When I thought that they'd reduce my subscribers to 10, I guess it was 10 was the number of new subscribers that I obtained. But still, my number is down below what it had gotten to, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was just on there the other day and I saw you had like 60 some odd subscribers.
Yeah,
But
I
you
know.
said you had 80 at one point, right?
Yeah, I had 81 like the week before, so you know, I guess I said something that somebody didn't like, or 10
Nah.
people didn't like.
Well, no, that chances are that's YouTube just screwing with us. You know, I get people unsubscribed from me every freaking day that aren't unsubscribing themselves. So, and everyone, it's happening to everyone in this genre. So, to those who are watching, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification and subscribe to Phil's channel too.
Yeah, I've been doing the Tibetan bowls about every video now, so you always get Tibetan bowls. And that's a good vibration, I'm just going to say.
Scotty Boy saying, what's the link? What's your channel?
Yeah, Phil Christopher's. That's.
But it's not the rugby dude.
But not the rugby dude, no. And you won't get that as your first, you know, when you type that in, it isn't one of that's going to come up. It'll be Phil Christopher's mom, and then Phil Christopher's rugby. I think it must be that Phil's mom. I'm not.
I found you. It's no problem. Type in Phil Christopher's, you'll find him.
Yeah, just type in Phil Christopher's and
And I recommend that, you know, if you see people chatting in the chat or making comments below on YouTube, follow them as well. This is what it's about, creating family.
Yeah, I do. I usually do check them out, check out their channels, and if they've got any videos, then I usually follow them.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe they'll start making videos, and it costs nothing to follow somebody, right?
Right. Well, except that YouTube will every once in a while throw those up at me, and they'll just keep putting them up there for me to unsubscribe from them, basically. At least that's the only thing I can figure, because then, you know, that you'll get a little dot on the side that'll say, you know, they've got a video, and I'll go in and there's nothing there. It's like, so YouTube goes at it two ways. It'll irritate you until you unsubscribe, and then probably just unsubscribes people just arbitrarily too. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how that's working.
I don't know, but they're just screwing a bunch of us. That I do know. I think what we're going to be doing, though, is we're probably just going to be, we've been on for going on 3 hours. Just want to remind everybody, make sure you check out n5d.net for the amazing 99.9% quartz crystal tie-dye that I do here. They're loaded with energy, and I ship them out ASAP. If you order it tonight, it'll be out tomorrow. Also check out N5D Patreon. It's just patreon.com N5D. And that helps us bring to you this Zoom platform that we're using as well. So any final words there, Phil?
Just be kind to each other, and drop into the heart, into that 0 point, into the love. That's the best vibration. Avoid fear. Fear is the mind killer, as the Ben Gesserit witches said in Doom, and it's true. Yeah, I mean, it takes you out of your connection to source. It takes you out of everything. It really, and that's where they want us. So, just do it, just to thwart them, basically. If you
Also
will.
be conscious of where your thoughts are going. Thoughts are manifesting quicker and faster now more than ever. So be present within about what you're putting out there, because it's coming back faster and quicker, more so now than ever before. Also, don't be afraid to surrender to universe, creator, what source, whatever you want to call it. Surrender, fall back, and you'll find that you'll be the one who's catching yourself, and many magical things will open up for you. So until the next time, I'm sending you all infinite light, love, and light. I want to thank you all for joining us here on Zoom as well as on YouTube. This is Gregg from invite5d.com. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, and embrace the light and embrace the magic.
Peace.